Hello, citizens of Gotham. It is Halloween night, a very special night for all of us here at Comics with Friends, the bi-weekly podcast where two best buds get together, read comics, talk about what we love, what we didn't like, and tell some funny jokes. I am Ethan, your host, joined by my best bud and co-host, Mason. How's it going, man?
It's going. I'm excited for this one because I think my take on it might not be widely accepted.
Oof. Man, this is going to be a rough one because I'm sure, as you can tell by the title of this episode, we are covering Batman The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Absolutely classic dynamic duo of a writer and artist on this book. They're pretty influential on Batman. Little bit of backstory on this. So this came out in the late 90s. I believe it came out in 96 and ended in 97. This is a 13-issue mini-series, limited series, whatever you want to call it, that takes place over the course of a year. That's also how it was released, over the course of a year to correspond with holidays. And this was kind of DC's attempt of an apology. So obviously we have covered Batman Year One on this podcast. We both love it. We think it's basically required reading for Batman if you know nothing about the character. Well, DC back in 92, I could be wrong about that, 92.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
They released a book, or I guess a story arc called Batman Year Two, which was awful.
I was going to say, by your attitude, I can tell it was not received very well.
No, it was not great. So not great that they released a Batman Year 3, and that was also not great.
Oh.
So in 96, after they had kind of shifted around the editors of the Batman department of DC, the new editor, who I believe is Archie Goodwin, I believe that's his name, kind of went to Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, who had worked previously on a little-known title called Legends of the Dark Knight, which is kind of standalone stories of Batman's early years.
Okay.
He had approached them and said, hey, you guys have done Halloween specials for this store, for this, brand. Every year they would do little one-shot stories that were eventually collected into a trade called Haunted Night, which is actually in the big omnibus that you and I ended up reading. Kind of takes place before all of the Long Halloween stuff. And he asked them, hey, we want you to do at least one more Batman story. Just one more. And, they all had this really cool idea of stretching it out over the course of a year, starting it on Halloween. And Archie Goodwin had a really awesome reaction to it. He thought it was great. He thought it was super creative, and he actually is the one that gave it the name, The Long Halloween. And the idea behind it that Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale wanted was to show the split of Gotham City from organized family crime to masked criminals.
Right.
And it's very evident throughout the story. You can definitely see that. And it's basically been history ever since. That it was so well received in the DC office that Jeff Loeb really wanted to use Year One characters for the story, because all the characters that were in Year One, for the most part, were created by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And so he went to Frank Miller personally and said, I want to create a sequel to your story. I know there's technically already a sequel to Year One, but no one liked it. So I want to make the definitive sequel. And Frank Miller loved the idea so much that he was like, go for it.
Yeah.
And so, while DC will never admit it, this is technically the in-continuity sequel to Batman Year One. The Long Halloween is Year Two of Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like their soft retcon of Year Two and Year Three.
Technically, yes, because Dark Victory happens during Batman's third year of being Batman, and that's in this as well. This Dark Victory is a sequel to Long Halloween, and that introduces Robin.
Okay.
So that's kind of the history behind it. I might have gotten that editor name wrong. I'm fairly certain it is Archie Goodwin.
Yeah.
If it is incorrect, I will edit that out and put the actual name in there. So
Yeah. One thing that I did like that, with that being said, kind of that context now, it's like, okay, the art, we can go ahead and just get right into the art section of it. The
Okay.
art matches up with Batman Year One really well, actually.
oh, you like it? Okay.
Yeah. So when we did Batman Year One, I was like, I really like the art for it and everything like that.
Very
Really
noir.
gave that noir kind of feel to it, and this one carried that as well. Like it still had the same feeling and everything like that. I loved the way Batman's depicted in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially he's always shadowed.
Yeah.
His cape always seems like it's got like a mind of its own, where
It has a weight to it.
yeah, where it's constantly like shadows reaching out,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like shadowy tendrils and whatnot.
Especially when they do the like overhead shots of
Yep.
Batman and it's all just sprawled out across the floor. And you get some shots where people are even like standing on it.
Yeah, I think the art's really well done. I know normally I have a thing about faces. This one, for some reason, it didn't bother me. I don't know if it's just the art style or whatever, because it feels less like an attempt at realism and more just
An approximation.
yeah, it's just, every artist has kind of their own style, so it feels like a stylistic choice rather than like, hey, I'm trying to make this person look as real as possible.
It's definitely a stylistic choice because there are some characters in here that do not look like what people would look like in real
Exactly.
life.
I mean,
And that's Tim Sale's style. It's really interesting to hear that you like that, because that was the main thing about this book I was afraid you were going to dislike.
see, I don't have a problem when people do like artistic choices like that, like I like Hellboy.
Yeah.
And some of in his comics, there's people depicted that it's like
No one would ever look
yeah,
like
no one ever would look like that. Like the anatomy is all weird and
It's
everything.
all anatomically incorrect.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? But that's the artistic choice, and I can, and since everything else in the universe matches
Looks like
up
that.
with it, it feels natural and it
Yeah.
feels right. Unlike, say, like Superman when we read Secret Origin. It was like you had the other panels that were very much like, really well done and everything, but then they did those close-ups and it just felt so like out of place of like, this does not seem like it's the same style because they were trying to make faces as like realistic as possible.
Okay.
So like, for example, like the Joker in this looks ridiculous.
He looks insane.
He looks ridiculous, but it also just matches up with the art of everything else already set up.
Yeah.
I mean, like even Cat with Selena, when you meet her for the first time, I'm like, that looks like Michael Jackson. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's definitely a stylistic thing, and I know a lot of people don't like Tim Sale. Didn't like Tim Sale's art. Tim Sale has sadly passed away. So I know that's a very controversial thing. Some people really don't like it. I love his art. I think it fits very well with the noir detective aspect.
I really like the art. So overall, really like the art. Before we get into it, I'll just give you my overall feelings of the story itself. I found it lackluster.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that just to be like contrarian. A lot of it, like there's this big setup of it being this detective story, and I really vibe with that. But then a lot of it is like, we have no leads. Well, then near the end, it's like, oh, we just so happen to be at the right place at the right time, and that's how we end up catching the villain, quote unquote. And to me, it's like, well, there's no like there's no actual detective work being done. It's all just, who could it be? Who could it be? Well, this person has, we didn't see them for a solid hour. It could be them. Well, this person, we also couldn't see them for a solid hour. It could be them. And they throw accusations around like several times and are completely fucking wrong. And then at the end, they're just like, maybe this accusation's right. Oh, it just so happened to be right this time. Like, I don't know. I felt like it really set itself up to be a detective story, and just I feel like it did not necessarily deliver on that. Like, I didn't feel like I was following a detective piecing together the puzzles. Like, I don't know. So I found the story lackluster. That being said, I felt the characters were really well written. Like, the overall plot is what I find lackluster. Everything else I thought was really well done. Like, the characterizations and like the personalities of the characters and stuff was all really well done. But I just think the overall narrative and plot was lackluster.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's my take.
Okay.
I'm sure there's people who absolutely fucking love this book.
This is
Would
considered.
like to see me on a fucking fiery stake right now.
This is considered to be in the top 3 best Batman stories ever written.
Don't get me wrong. It's like
By a lot of people.
yeah, it's good, but like maybe it's because I don't have that connection to the character and stuff like that, and from like an outsider's perspective, it just felt, like I said, not bad. It just felt lackluster.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't deliver on the promise that it gave me with that first issue. So yeah, like, that's my take. That's my take.
Well, I'm sure you'll be able to tell my opinions on this story, as we're going over it. Obviously, I don't care if you weren't like absolutely blown away from
everyone's allowed to like
Yeah.
I'm not standing here saying like, if you like this book, you're fucking crazy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for my personal taste and experience, I found the story lackluster.
Yeah. So I figured with that, we should probably get into the story.
Yes.
So, as any good detective / crime / Batman story, you always start off with a Godfather ripoff.
Yeah.
So, the opening panel, just a full panel of Bruce Wayne, completely background by shadow and a blinded window, just says, "I believe in Gotham City."
Which that I believe in comes up throughout this whole story multiple times.
Oh yeah, it is, I would say, a crux of the story. And we find out that Bruce Wayne has actually been invited to this huge wedding that is being funded by Carmine Falcone, the Roman.
Yep.
And another big thing that is brought up in this, moment here, but throughout the story, is that the Roman is untouchable. And we hear that through Batman's monologue. We find out that this wedding is for his nephew, Vitti. I believe his name is Jonathan Vitti.
Yeah.
So,
and as Batman, he's narrating, he's like, it's funny because literally last week Falcone tried to have him killed, and now he's celebrating and hosting his wedding.
Yeah, he was going to testify against him, but decided not to.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. We also notice that, Bruce Wayne is looking out into the crowd. And again, this is just a 1-for-1 recreation of The Godfather, the wedding scene, all that kind of stuff. And we see Bruce Wayne is naming off all the people there. And he even notices that one of his board of directors for Wayne Enterprises is there, Richard Daniel. And as we continue to go on in this party, we realize that Falcone has invited Bruce Wayne because his father, Bruce's father, knew Falcone's father and even helped him once. We don't really get an insight onto that until later on into the story, but you can tell that Falcone is wanting to extend an olive branch because of that.
That's one of the first things that reminded me of
The Batman.
the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Obviously, they took from this storyline of his dad knowing Falcone and stuff like that. So once I inherently made that connection, I kind of already summarized, like, okay, I know the connection probably between his dad and Falcone.
This book, so remember I mentioned that this is considered by many to be in like the top 3 best books for Batman ever written. This book is so influential that the Nolan trilogy and the Batman and the Batman Part 2 that's coming out next year are all taking inspiration from this one story.
I can see it. I can believe it.
There are scenes in this book that are 1-for-1 shots in the movie, the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, I believe it's in Batman Begins. It's either in Batman Begins or Batman or the Dark Knight, where they open up the warehouse and it's full of money. I think I think it's the Dark Knight because Harvey Dent.
Yeah, it's the Dark Knight with the no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because that's another one of the moments where I'm like, oh, I make a connection here to one of the movies and stuff.
Yeah. This book is crazy influential.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I got that feeling because there was multiple times where I was like, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's slightly different.
Yeah. So yeah, the Roman has Wayne there to extend an olive branch and kind of wants to do business with Wayne. He wants to open up some, from what I can tell, like some import stuff to go on.
Yeah.
Banking stuff to go on, because Bruce Wayne is obviously, he's the Prince of Gotham. He has a lot of influence everywhere. He can kind of get you anything that you need.
Yeah.
But Wayne is like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
I don't work with
Bruce
criminals.
Wayne's probably the only person not afraid of Falcone.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, him and
Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, Harvey as well.
Yeah. So those 3, who are technically the 3 main characters of the story,
Yeah.
they are all very much, yeah. They do not give a shit about Carmine. We are introduced, Bruce Wayne leaves, and we are introduced to Carmine's son, Alberto Falcone, who we instantly get the knowledge that he is not a part of what Carmine calls the family business.
Yeah.
He purposefully has left his son out of it because he wants his son to just live a normal life like a normal man.
Which, to me, is confusing. Because, like, especially considering, like, he's his only son. So to me, any like mob or mafia related media I have consumed in my life, it's always they want their son to take on the family business because that's how it keeps going.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was like, yeah, I don't want you involved at all, just doesn't really make sense to me.
There is a little bit of knowledge in here that you'd have to look at the very last panel after the end of the book that shows like this big chart. And it also, like, if you've been reading Batman comics for a while, you'd know as well. Carmine Falcone has 2 sons. There's Alberto, and then he has another son. I forget his name, but he's like, I think he's in Italy.
Oh, yeah.
And then he has a daughter, Sophia.
Yeah, well, you meet her in this, but I obviously only figured he had the one son.
Yeah.
But
there's a little bit of little things in there that you would only really know if you've been reading Batman for a little bit.
Right.
So, Alberto, he catches Bruce Wayne kind of like spying on Carmine Falcone. Basically tells him, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And Bruce Wayne, he does the typical bachelor, like,
looking for the bath.
Yeah, I'm looking for the bathroom. I don't know where I'm at.
I gotta drain the lizard.
Yep. And Alberto is like, it's that way. Get the fuck out of here. And we get this really nice, like, artistic depiction of it's all white, but it's just Alberto's eyes and glasses with like the cigarette smoke. And I really like that. And eyes play kind of a big part in this story as well. as our last story that we covered,
No.
Nailbiter.
Yep.
And it goes back to that idea of like you can tell a person's intentions by the look in their eyes, that kind of deal.
I will say one thing I really like in this story that they do, again, kind of talking about the art, is the use of just having a full panel of a single color and
Yeah.
then using like black or outlining to, form the picture. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
very abstract.
Yeah,
It's using negative space.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. So Bruce Wayne runs into Selena Kyle.
I'm sorry, she looks a lot like Michael Jackson in that panel.
A little bit.
It took me a second. I had to do a double take.
A little bit. It's so jarring because like this is supposed to be year 2
Yeah.
of Batman, and in year 1 she basically has like a buzz cut,
Oh, yeah.
but in this she has a full like
Yeah, and she's more like a street kid in year
in
1.
this one she's a socialite.
Yeah.
Now there is an explanation for that, and there is even a story that was done for this by the same team called When in Rome, which explains Catwoman's backstory.
I mean, to be fair, she's a pretty woman and a cat burglar, so acquiring money probably not that difficult. And pretty girls, guys, their brains turn off. For a pretty girl.
Bruce Wayne does that
Exactly.
in this.
Exactly. Like, how many times does Batman let Catwoman go?
Oh man,
Like
too many,
too many times.
too many.
He likes the chase.
Oh yeah. So essentially, they have their little back and forth. Of course, it's the classic Batman Catwoman thing. They're
Bat and
always
cat.
Yeah. Oh god, stop. I hate that.
The bat and the cat.
Oh god.
It's literally said in this book.
Go ahead and have sex on some diamonds. Why don't you? So they start their dance. They start to dance, and they're going back and forth, and that's when Carla Vitti, who is the Roman's sister, talks to her son, the one who's getting married, and essentially, says like, "Oh, that's Bruce Wayne."
Yeah.
They start to, take notice of him, and they essentially just say like, "Oh, I wonder what he's doing here. Does he have business with Carmine?" All that kind of stuff.
Because one thing you do find out throughout this story is Carmine likes to keep things to himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't really share with the family his plans and stuff. And anytime they ask, it's always like, don't fucking ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you question me?
Right. So while Carmine and Alberto are kind of having a conversation about the family business and stuff, and obviously Carmine's telling him he doesn't want Alberto to be a part of it, one of Carmine's men is like, "Hey, sir, you might want to look at this," and shows him security camera footage of the garage, and Harvey Dent is there.
Yeah.
And Harvey Dent's there because he is jotting down essentially all the license plates of everyone in attendance of this party. And as he's doing this, he gets kind of run up on by some shadowed individuals, knocked on his ass and knocked out. And as Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle are leaving the party, Bruce sees him, is like, "Oh shit, that's Harvey." Yeah. And, tries to help him up. And, he tells Harvey like, "Look, it's Halloween. You need to take a chill pill. You need to take a break or whatever, and just kind of rest. You've been going nonstop on this tirade against Carmine." And Dent is essentially like, "I'm not going to rest because he's a fucking killer. He's a criminal.
Yeah.
Like, he deserves to get put behind bars." And he essentially just says like, "Good night. Like, you guys go home. Yeah. I'm going to continue working."
And Selena's like, "You got any more plans for the night?" And he's like, "It's late. I'm going home." And then immediately,
oh yeah,
he's doing his Batman thing.
Yeah, he's yawning. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go home. Oh, I'm so tired.
I'm getting old,
Yeah, and Bruce Wayne, man, you fumbled the ball, man. Come on. So we cut to Jim Gordon's office. He's still the rank of captain.
Right.
Harvey Dent gets there. They start to celebrate, and they are Jim Gordon essentially says, like, I have a friend
Yeah.
who I want to let in on our, investigation, because it's revealed that Jim Gordon is also doing an investigation on the Roman, trying to put him behind bars. And as the wedding ceremony for Carmine's nephew is essentially coming to a wind, they're getting all the family photos, all that stuff. You see this glider in the background just kind of fly right over the reception,
The back glider.
and you're like, how the fuck did nobody see that? I don't give a shit how like dark his costume is. That's wild.
I mean, no one looks up.
No one. No.
Like in a city where a dude likes to come from above, you would think more people would look
A
up.
gargoyle is about as commonplace in Gotham City as the fucking sidewalk. You might want to look up and see if that's where he's at.
That's the one thing that always made me laugh about the Arkham games.
Oh, yeah.
Is like, I get it, like game mechanic wise.
Yeah.
You know, like the gargoyle or the ledge or whatever would be like maybe 10 feet from the ground.
Yeah.
And you're just hulking Batman sitting on the fucking gargoyle, and not once does a thug go, look
Just
upwards and see fucking
280 pounds of pure fucking beef. Just absolutely ready to unleash on these inmates.
this fucking Halloween costume filled man of spite, just fucking ready to break every bone in your body.
And no one looks up.
No one looks
Not
up.
a single person.
The people of Gotham have like the problem gamers do, and then they just don't look up.
No, not at all. So everyone's distracted. Everyone's doing stuff at the reception, and inside of Carmine's office, we see a shadowed individual cracking a safe. Of course, we know who it is. We know it's Selena. And as she is starting to take stuff, Batman's like, "Oh, I was wondering who left the window open."
Yeah.
And they immediately start fighting.
I do not like her costume in this.
You don't like this costume?
It's the mask. Honestly, it's the whiskers. Like, I don't think they needed the whiskers for her mask and stuff.
I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree.
I will say, if they wanted to keep the black leather look, they could do something similar, like how they do with, or at least did with Venom for a while, where it's like the two-tone. Mm-hmm. Or they even do it with Batman sometimes, where it's like you have the black leather, but depending on the angle and how they're moving in the panel, have like certain highlights of purple.
Yeah.
On the black and everything like that. I feel like that could work.
Yeah.
If they want to keep the leather look, but I think we should retire that.
Yeah, I think we should just retire the Catwoman Batman relationship in general.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
I know you do. I know you do.
I mean, because it works, man.
It does until it doesn't.
Law, and he keeps the law, and his whole thing is justice. But he's just got this soft spot, which I can't speak at all. He's a sucker for, and he's got to bend his rules of justice. I don't know. I like it. She's also hot as fuck. So.
That's the only reason why. Bruce is just a fucking simp. That's it.
Well, some might say he's got his priorities straight. That's
no. Okay. Well, his priorities are to Gotham, not his dick.
Why does it have to be mutually exclusive? Why can't it be one and the same?
Let's move on.
Anyway.
So yeah, Batman and Catwoman are fighting, and then Carmine's men fucking bust in because of course they're being loud as fuck, and they start unloading, and Batman just throws a smoke bomb. They get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Carmine is like, "What is going on here? Yeah. Like did you guys kill him?" And it's like, "No, of course not."
Yeah,
it's fucking Batman.
Yeah.
When the fuck have we ever been able to get him?
I mean, shit. Even like Catwoman's kind of made a name for herself because they even mentioned like it was fucking Batman and Catwoman, and that's when Falcone's like, "All right, put a fucking bounty on both of them." So that means they both have a reputation enough.
Oh yeah,
to be recognized.
Another cool thing, because you remember how I mentioned how Jeff Loeb really wanted to use the year one stuff. Mm-hmm. If you look at Carmine, he has 3 scratches on his face from Batman Year One when Catwoman scratched him.
Yep.
Really awesome attention to detail. I love that.
Yep.
That is so cool.
I did notice that.
So Batman chases Selina throughout the city. Of course, she is slippery. He has this really nice monologue about like cats having 9 lives and how like she's playing reckless, and by the end of this, how many of her lives will be spent, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And she gets away. Batman decides, fuck it, I'll tap that later. And he goes to the bat signal, which has just been lit by Jim Gordon. Jim and Dent are there. Dent is essentially like, when the fuck is your friend going to get here? You know, Jim is like, I don't really have like a timer on this thing. It's just kind of when he shows up.
Yeah.
And of course, Bruce shows up. Or, sorry, Batman shows up.
Yeah.
Got to keep them separate.
Yeah.
Batman shows up, silhouetted by the bat signal. Looks super
cool.
fucking cool. Yeah. And, you know, Jim starts to introduce each Batman and Dent, and they already know each other.
Yeah.
Because, of course, in Year One, Jim Gordon thought Dent was Batman.
Yep.
Turns out, no, but Dent was supplying Batman with information on the crime lord families. Mm-hmm. So they begin their little meeting of Falcone, talking about like, oh, he's trying to pressure people of influence, Bruce Wayne, all that kind of stuff, into, you know, doing bank business with him.
Right.
You know, he's money laundering. That's essentially what he's wanting to do, money laundering.
He's wanting to use Wayne Enterprise to launder his money.
Yeah.
We kind of, in this issue, figure out why he's trying to get that. Because, without jumping too far, he basically... Well, it's not... It's not... Yeah, it is this issue. Yeah, it is this... With the warehouse. Yeah, it's this issue. We kind of find out that what assets Falcone has right now, he's not able to launder... all the money he wants to.
Because the events of Year One really fucked him up.
Yeah. So he's trying to recover from that.
Yeah. Because I'm not quite sure how long, like, this takes place after Year One. It can't be that long because it's immediately after.
I'd say a couple months, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I'd like to... in my head...
I think Year One ends in September, so it has to be like a month.
I was going to say, I felt like it ended somewhere near the end of summer or something like that. So probably September or something around there.
So, essentially, Bruce Wayne, or keep doing it. Batman is like, okay, well, I'll do my investigations on my end. You guys do your thing. Dent, you know, lay the pressure on him, that kind of deal. And Batman's like, we know it needs to be done. And they essentially have this agreement of like, we will take down Falcone like the legit way. We're not going to fucking kill anyone.
Right.
We're better than them. We are above them. That kind of deal. And that's a theme that comes up a lot in this book.
Yeah.
Of we are above the criminals, that kind of deal. And we start to get a narration from Bruce Wayne's perspective, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne, because they are different speech bubbles. And it talks about how ever since his parents were taken from him, like he made a promise that he would do the best that he can to protect Gotham. And that's kind of all we get of that narration for now, because it comes back later towards the end of the story.
Right.
He disappears, you know, he ends up leaving this ledger behind of dates and dollar amounts. And
because he got it when he had his scuffle with Catwoman.
Yeah.
Because she was trying to take the money, and he was trying to get information. So they both walked away with pretty much what they wanted.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah. So that's why he let her go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Real. Yeah.
That's why he let
protector of Gotham.
He very much hates to see her go, but loves to watch her leave.
Yeah.
Batman is Catwoman's number one fan.
Yeah. Probably donates a lot of money to her on Twitch.
Gives a lot of subs.
Yeah. So, I do got to correct myself. It is not Halloween yet. I forgot this story starts in June, but the events of the story do not kick off until
Till
October. Yeah.
Yeah.
So July, there's a board meeting at Wayne Enterprise where Richard Daniel is trying to make the case for Carmine Falcone in the business prospects, and Bruce Wayne is having none of it.
Yeah.
He is like, I will not accept his dirty money. We will not exchange dirty money with Falcone.
Right.
And there's a really cool narration from Bruce Wayne that just says, somewhere in this city, I know the Roman is smiling. And that comes back later.
Yeah.
I really like that.
One thing that was also mentioned earlier when Falcone was talking to Alberto, beforehand, was that Richard Daniel told Falcone, we have the votes to get this through.
Yeah.
And Falcone, after his meeting with Bruce, is like, we don't really need Bruce to accept this.
But it would make it easier.
It would have made it easier, but according to Daniels, we have the votes required. So whether he agrees or not doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But things change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So later on that same night after that board meeting, Richard Daniels at home in his penthouse, and fucking Batman's there.
Yep.
And encased in all shadow. And he just tells Daniels, like, you keep Falcone's money out of the bank.
Yeah.
Or you'll have me to deal with.
That's one thing also that I really like in this. There's a lot of times when Batman shows up and like he doesn't even make himself like present.
Yeah.
He's just a voice in the darkness.
Which I feel like is kind of how early Batman should be.
I think that's how Batman should be 90% of the time.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like he gets less scary when you involve a child as his partner.
Yeah.
So but early Batman should feel like a mythical, like urban legend.
Well, at that point, whenever Robin comes around, he's
like palling around with Superman at that point.
Yeah, and like he's like known to be real and everything.
Yeah.
And also like his rage is no longer really there. It's more like duty. And
Yeah.
like, stuff.
Yeah.
That's
a point they bring up in this story, by the way.
Yeah. Early Batman is just rage.
Yeah.
Like anger problems.
Yeah. I feel like the Batman movie did a really good job at showcasing that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping they still kind of expand that on in part 2, but we'll see. But yeah, I just really like how they show Batman in this. Like always just being part of the darkness and everything like that is just super cool.
Yeah. So Daniel resigns as head of board of directors. He leaves Wayne Enterprises and gets the fuck out of there. And we cut to August. And Falcone is like, all right, I want Daniel dead.
Yeah.
Like he pulled out, he guaranteed us a win. He basically lied to me.
He resigned.
Yeah, he resigned.
Yeah.
And we open up to a movie theater where Daniel and his girlfriend are leaving a movie, and he's like, "Hey, how about we get out of this city? We go to Paris for fall." And as he's saying that, a car pulls up, rolls the windows down, says Richard Daniel, just yells out Richard Daniel. He responds with, who is it? And they just unload on him, and he's dead.
Yeah.
After that, we get that same dialogue from Bruce Wayne where somewhere in the city the Roman is laughing or smiling. Or no, it says he's laughing this time. And then after that, we get these really nice black and white panels of somebody tinkering in a garage with a gun, wrapping it up, or wrapping the handle up in, bandages, filing the serial number off, putting a kind of a bottled nipple on,
like a sippy cup kind of.
Yeah. And putting it on the gun, and then it cuts to Jim Gordon's house.
Yep.
With that same style of bottle, sippy thing, whatever the fuck they call it. I call it a bottle nipple, but whatever. And Jim's cleaning the dishes, and Barbara gets the phone for him. He's talking, or it's Harvey Dent. He's talking to, or no, it's not Harvey Dent. It's I think it's just GCPD is calling him from home.
Yeah, because Barbara, Jim's like, "Are you gonna get that?" And Barbara's like, "It's never for me."
Yeah, yeah, which is so sad.
It's so sad, but it's like, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah. But he's like, oh God, I'll call Harvey Dent right away.
Yeah.
Gilda, Harvey's wife, goes to get Harvey, who is in a garage basement type thing with a bunch of tools. Absolutely jacked, by the way. No shirt on.
There is one thing I will say about Harvey in this is that he's not like how I've seen him depicted. Like, obviously, like, it's either I've seen him as Two-Face or as like I can't remember the actor's name, but like in the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, I know you're
so like he's like in this he's like super kind of rough and tumble.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to throw hands like at all times.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird to see him as, but
so Gilda gets dead, and that's when he finds out that, Richard Daniel was killed by the Falcone family. And Gilda is scared. Yeah. She is terrified that one day she will get a call that it's Harvey that was shot and killed. And Dent essentially says, like, please don't worry about that. Like, that'll never happen to me. We'll always be safe.
Yeah.
Man, famous last words.
Yeah. That's a death flag.
Oh, yeah. That's even worse than a death flag right there. So we cut back to those black and white panels, and it's of a running bathtub faucet. Gets turned off. Johnny Vitti, the nephew of the Roman, the nephew of the Roman, gets in the bathtub, and then we just see a gun, the same gun that was being worked on, peek through the door crack and shoots Johnny right in the head, kills him. And then the only thing that's left is a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. I will say, so throughout this story, the bottle nipple on the end of the gun is the common murder weapon that keeps being used. And there's times where it's shot multiple times. Mm-hmm. That would not work as a silencer.
No, I don't think it would work as a silencer at all.
The first shot, it might. But the moment that after that first shot, it's no longer a silencer.
No.
And there's times where they shoot fucking multiple times.
Oh yeah, especially
and no one hears it, and I'm like that. Just like it wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, I understand. So
not me trying to yuck someone's yum, but
no, I completely understand that. So he is killed. Harvey, Jim, and Batman are all having a meeting with the evidence on the table. And Harvey is essentially like 2 shots to the head. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah. Very blasé about it.
Yeah. Harvey is okay with the killing of these criminals as long as it makes his city safer. That is a big thing with Harvey.
Which is definitely another side of like, Batman, like we talked in year 1 where he had that decision to make whether to kill or not.
Yeah.
Where he saved the criminals or whatever. And it's like Harvey is the other side of it. And you can see kind of in Batman's defense for his philosophy, you can see the kind of the road that it takes Harvey by having that philosophy of being okay with killing the criminals. Because that's one thing Batman always says is like, if I started, I wouldn't be able to stop. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing with Harvey is because he goes down that road and he ends up, live long enough.
Oh yeah. You're gonna
become the villain. You know? That whole thing.
Either die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yep.
So yeah, they have this conversation and they instantly start naming off people who could possibly be suspects. The main 2 that they really guess are Maroni, who is the main rival of Falcone, and Carla, who is the mother of Johnny
Falcone's sister.
Yeah. Now, they don't really know. I don't think they really give a reason as to why Carla would do it. They, I think even Jim's like, why her?
They just say like power.
Yeah.
Which again, they just throw, like, constantly throughout the story, they just throw out
the names.
the names of, like, they could be the one.
Yeah.
No, they could be the one.
I can understand that criticism.
Yeah, and then another thing, like, we'll probably talk about it again later, is, like, there's just, like, too many red herrings thrown in here, which totally defeats the purpose of a red herring by having so fucking many.
Yeah. So they have that conversation. Catwoman is listening in on the conversation, and Batman kind of tracks her down and is like,
notices.
hey, what are you doing here? You know, you need to, you're getting involved in something that's above you. You need to stay out of this. And she's essentially like, I can take care of myself. Yeah. That kind of nonsense. And that's basically the end of that conversation.
They do more flirting and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure, I think this is when she helps him out by, like, telling him where Falcone's money is. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get that very iconic Dark Knight scene where Dent and Batman go to the warehouse where he's keeping all of his dirty money. Mm-hmm. And Bruce essentially says, like, he hasn't been able to spend it.
Yeah. Because it hasn't been laundered yet.
Yeah. So he's just been stockpiling it. And then when they turn the lights on, it's like, it is a cartoonistically large amount of money. Like, so much money that, like, you and every person in your lineage ever from that point would never have to work again.
And the thing is Harvey's like, you know, if we were any other two guys, and, you know, and Batman keeps, like, interrupting, is like, I'm just saying, and, you know, like, don't you think about it? And Batman's like, no, and you shouldn't either.
Yeah. It's like, well, of course you don't, Batman, because you fucking have all the money in the world.
I wonder how you got all those gadgets, Batman.
Or should I say Bruce?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, do you see this bat-shaped personal jet flying around all over the place? Who the hell has money for that?
Or, I don't know, the fucking company to do that.
Yeah. This crazy technology? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they set the warehouse on fire.
Yeah.
Very, like, I don't know, maybe it's because it's owned by Falcone. He doesn't necessarily care. But I don't really know Batman to just set buildings on fire that often. I think it's because it's a Falcone-owned building.
I'm sure also he probably would have do enough diligence to make sure there's no one going to die from the fire, per se. And it's also not within, like, the city. It's, like, right on the harbor.
Yeah.
And everything.
The docks, everything, yeah.
But maybe you're right too. Maybe because it is Falcone and he's just a rage-fueled Batman. Right
I think it's
now,
a combination of both.
Yeah, he probably doesn't give a fuck now either.
Probably. So they do that. Dent gets back home. You know, tells his wife, like, we're done. Like, we don't got to do anything else. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of Halloween. We're gonna just hang out.
Yep.
And when they shut the door, their house fucking explodes.
Yep. No fucking way they lived through that.
No, there's no way. Their house is so small.
Like, and it's not like someone fucking saved them. Mm-hmm. Like, the only way I can assume they survived was they had foreknowledge that it was going to happen.
Or maybe they were right there by the front door when it happened.
Well, because the way it looks is like they're walking inside and shutting the door.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, but
I agree with you. They should be fucking dead.
And, like, that explosion's fucking huge, too.
Yeah.
Like,
the house is engulfed in an inferno.
That thing's, like, gone in 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, someone just got a fucking nuke in Call of Duty. Like,
yeah, I completely agree with you. They should be fucking dead.
Like, I don't...
Comic books,
am I right, guys?
So that is the end of part 1, Punishment. Part 2 is Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So this is where the motif of holidays begins to come in. And this is also the beginning of the change in Gotham when it comes to organized crime.
Yep.
So it opens, full page like panel of Batman silhouetted, very much like mirroring the first panel of the first chapter.
Bruce. Yeah.
And it just says Harvey Dent is dead.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert,
He's not.
he's not dead. So, they are questioning this kind of smaller gang. Mickey is kind of the leader of this gang called the Irish. And essentially, they are saying that he is the one who did it.
Yeah.
Who
Him and his crew.
Yeah, him and his crew. They planted the bomb. They name off all their guys.
What isn't one like Timmy Two Times or something like that?
It's Donnie Boy Sullivan, Jimmy Slick, Dapper Kevin, Willie Two Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mickey the Mink Sullivan. Yeah, that's the leader. So Gordon is like, look, it's Thanksgiving. I want to, because we jump like basically a month.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving. My wife made a delicious meal, and I just want to eat.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if my food is cold when I get home, I will throw the book at you.
I'm going to mollywop your ass up and down this fucking jail cell.
Yeah. So he says that, and Mikey's like, I didn't do it. No, I didn't do it. I'm completely innocent. And Batman is like, all right, so that bomb that was made using like nails and stuff like that. Well, I recovered one of the nails. Each nail, I don't know if this is true.
Dude, I have that in my notes too. I'm like, is that true about nails?
This sounds wild
Yeah.
to me. And he says the nail has a serial code on it, similar to like how a gun.
Yeah.
Well, you can track that serial number to the place it was created, and then that place to where it was distributed to, and then to the store it was taken to, and then who it was sold to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no fucking way that that's a real thing.
I'm going to have to like go to like Lowe's or a Home Depot and just
look at the
nail and see if it's actually got a fucking serial code on it.
I don't think that's real.
In the 28 years of my existence, I have never once
heard of that. No, I don't think that's real. I think that's some bullshit thing. That
I think that's some comic logic right there. I don't think they do that shit. I need to check.
Yeah, in this world where Superman exists, sure, they fucking they put serial codes on nails.
I don't know.
So yeah, he essentially says like, I have the receipts, Mickey. Yeah. I know you bought it, and he immediately breaks and he starts admitting shit, but he won't implicate the Roman. So that's the big thing, is that they can't connect Mickey and his gang to the Carmine or the Falcone family,
because they all end up confessing. Each member of the Irish end up confessing to a different aspect of the crime. Like, one's a getaway driver, one planted the bomb, one detonated it, one orchestrated it.
Yeah, but they never admit who hired them.
Yeah, they basically say like, well, Harvey had a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
And we're just one of them. That's basically their whole their quote unquote defense, I guess.
Yeah. That's when we do get a flashback to how we ended up in this situation, where Batman had tracked Mickey down to a hotel, and a big chase ensued. Mickey falls out of the hotel window, or breaks out.
I was gonna say, he don't fall, he fucking jumps.
Yeah, he jumps and slides down the big like
hotel sign.
Yeah. And the only way he feels like he can really get away from Batman is going into the sewer. And Batman, I love Batman's narration. He's like a rat into Gotham sewers. And I'm like, damn, Batman.
And you know what? Mickey's got balls of steel on him.
Oh,
because if there's one place I would not want to be in all of Gotham, and there's a lot of places, it's the fucking sewers.
Now, at this point, Killer Croc has not been...
Oh, yeah, but you know who else you fucking run into down in the sewer?
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing, like a dude dressed as a bat, like, at the end of the day, that's still a person. People aren't fucking expecting a zombie to be in the sewer.
I'm just saying.
So he says, like a rat to the sewer, trying to hide from one demon only to find another. And Mickey is grabbed by Solomon fucking Grundy.
Dude, how unlucky do you need to be out of all the sewer entrances in Gotham to come across fucking Solomon fucking Grundy?
One dude.
Yeah, one guy. You just so happen to fucking pick the one. Like,
I would just start praying at this point.
Oh, yeah.
If I was Mickey, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm fucking dead.
I mean,
like this big ass zombie's gonna crush my skull.
Because fucking Solomon Grundy is like what? Like fucking 10 feet tall?
Oh, he's massive,
like
yeah.
400 pounds of just straight fucking
muscle.
Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and, you know, he's doing the thing where he's like Solomon Grundy born on a Monday.
Yeah.
But he doesn't finish it. He only has the born on a Monday part. And that's it. So, and we get this really nice narration of Batman saying like Solomon Grundy is one of the lost souls of Gotham. He essentially says like Solomon Grundy was an innocent guy who did nothing wrong and was just at the wrong place, wrong time, and was killed by like essentially like the mob.
Yeah, like just the kind of generalizing crime in Gotham in general. Like as he's just like another one of the citizens that gets harmed from crime just being so ridden in the streets of Gotham.
Yeah.
Which I do like that even though he is technically quote unquote a Batman villain, he's more sympathetic. Yeah, he's never really portrayed as like a bad guy.
No.
He's more like
he's a lost soul.
Yeah, like he's the hermit.
Yeah.
Like if you just leave alone, he's not going to hurt anybody. Yeah. Like he's not actively trying to fucking like kill somebody. Yeah. You know, he's just wandering the sewers.
And they make a good point of that in this story as well, because all the scenes that Solomon Grundy are involved in are not because he's trying to like make money or anything like that. Someone else has involved him.
Yep.
So, which I really like that. But we get that nice little flashback. Solomon Grundy leaves because Batman kind of beats the shit out of him. Solomon Grundy leaves, and you know, we cut back to present day. And Jim Gordon basically tells one of the guards, like, hey, get him out of here, send him back to his cell, and bring his other guys up. We're going to interrogate all of them. As he's being taken back to the cell, lights go out real quick, come back on, and everything seems to be normal.
Mickey's like, what was that? Like, what happened when the lights are off and then the lights come on? And then he's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah. He gets back into his cell, and he essentially is like, we're gonna tell them everything, and they're gonna cut us a deal, that kind of thing. Yeah. Basically telling his goons, his guys, like, we're gonna get out of this scot-free. We're safe.
Yeah. He's like, stick to the plan.
Yeah, stick to the plan. And, you know, they, like you said, they all kind of implicate themselves in an aspect of the crime, but never mention Falcone.
Yep.
I will say at this same time, Falcone is making food with his son for Thanksgiving. And Carla, his sister, seems to be pretty upset about that.
Yeah,
basically saying like, my son just got fucking killed last month. Yeah, like, and you're making food.
Yeah, she's how do we say? She's a firecracker.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like, Carmine is very like calm. Yeah, and like, well, don't get me wrong, like he can get mad, but he's very much like I got a plan. he's
the Godfather.
He's that, and he's also Dutch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got a plan, Arthur.
Dutch. Dutch, come on, Dutch.
And then Carla's very much like would rather shoot first, ask questions later.
Oh yeah, 100%. So they do their implication, all that kind of stuff, and then it is revealed that when Mikey comes back up, it was a mask, and it's Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent is alive. He's been alive. He's basically in witness protection right now.
Yeah, Gilda's in the hospital.
Yeah, they say Dent walked out with a few scrapes and bruises, but Gilda got put in the hospital.
Yeah. So
Gilda should have got put in the fucking ground.
Yeah, she should be 6 feet deep.
Like,
you know what that makes me think? I know this didn't happen. But it's just funny to me to think about this is like because she was in the hospital and he only got a scratch. It's like he saw the bomb and then grabbed Gilda and used her as like a human shield.
In sickness and in health.
I have crime to fight.
Yeah. You're a stay-at-home wife, I think.
Yeah.
She's not a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So they basically call it a night. Or Harvey mentions like, oh man, it must suck wearing a mask all the time.
Yeah.
Batman. They call it a night. Batman is basically hanging outside the police station. Harvey goes to visit his wife, and Jim gets to go eat cold Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. I always feel bad for Jim.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't feel bad for Batman when he misses stuff like that because
That's his thing.
yeah, like you're actively choosing to dress up as a bat and go out at night and fight crime and everything like that.
Justice does not take a day off.
Yeah, but Jim
Has a family.
Granted, it's a choice to be a cop,
Yeah.
but he's like, this is my job. Like, and he's got so much more shit to worry about than Batman does. He's got corrupt cops. He's got to worry about corrupt politicians, fucking red tape and doing his fucking job. He's got a wife at home.
A kid.
He's got a fucking kid. Ends
now
up with another kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Now he's got fucking these hooligans coming out of the sewer.
Yeah.
and deal with.
He's got fucking zombies in the sewers, eventually a man crocodile. He's got a killer clown.
Yeah. Which at this point they have established that Joker is already a character. There is a story we did kind of skip over just because, you know, I wanted to do this for Halloween.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to skip over it if we wanted to do this, called The Man Who Laughs.
Yeah,
which
that's his introduction.
Yes. And it's technically part 2 of year 1 because it takes place within the same like time frame.
Yeah.
So we end this chapter with Batman going to the sewer and giving Solomon Grundy a plate of food. So that way he has somebody to be, or something to be thankful for.
Yeah, I really liked that.
I do too. I love the humanity stuff that they do with Batman and a lot.
Yeah, because like, you know, we've been kind of joking about it, but like he is just this very vengeful and kind of rage-filled individual right now. And when you do get a glimpse of that humanity in him, of like just like, okay, he's more than just like his vengeance. I really like that aspect.
I do too.
Like I said in the beginning, like the characterization and the writing for the characters is super good in this. Like, I don't think there's a single character in here that I necessarily dislike as far as like the writing goes.
Yeah, I agree. So the Irish are having their little like, haha, we did it. We're scot-free. We ain't going to jail. Yeah. And then the black and white panels start.
Yeah, and the moment the color fades, you know it's all downhill from here.
Oh, it's over. This person, their runtime has now hit the end.
Yeah, we ran out of budget to color your panels, so we got to write you off the, off the book.
I do think it's beautiful when they use the black and white, but there's a tinge of color.
Yes.
So they die. They get killed, and what is left is... Oh, I forgot what this thing is. Cornucopia. The only reason why I had that word in my head was because of Hunger Games. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, it's cornucopia.
Yeah, the cornucopia, the classic thing.
The Fruit of the Loom that supposedly never existed on the Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah, bullshit.
That is 100%. A psyop by the government. I swear to fucking God, that thing was there the entire fucking time.
They are fucking with us.
The government ran by the corporations, I tell you.
So that is the end of part 2, Thanksgiving. Part 3, of course, is Christmas, my favorite holiday.
Yeah. It has Mariah Carey. I can't get behind it.
That's okay. And of course, the biggest holiday of the year has to have the biggest villain in Batman's Rogues Gallery.
Yep.
The Joker is in here. And this is when they have officially dubbed this new unknown individual who is killing these gangsters the holiday killer.
Yep.
He is a serial killer at this point.
Not to be confused with Calendar Man.
Correct. Yeah. And that's a big thing that comes up in this because eventually he will become a suspect.
Yep.
So Joker is reading the newspaper about the holiday killer and he is singing songs about Christmas. And he's like, I fucking hate Christmas songs. He hates Christmas songs so much. But another thing he hates more is the holiday killer.
Yeah.
And we see that the Joker is actually in this innocent family's home and is reciting Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
Yeah. He's going full Grinch.
Yeah, and he is taking all their presents and putting them in his little Joker mobile because he's straight up got a purple car. And as that's happening, Batman and Jim Gordon are at Arkham Asylum and is essentially like, the Joker escaped. We don't know how, but of course, like, he got out. And Batman's like, don't worry about that. I'll take care of it.
I will say the family that the Joker stole the Christmas gifts from, he actually gave them the biggest gift, and that was not fucking killing them.
I completely agree. Let me just say this.
If the Joker rocks up into my fucking apartment,
You make peace with whatever fucking God you believe in.
exactly.
I will say this. Joker in this story feels off to me just a little bit
Yeah.
because of that.
He
Does Joker things.
He does Joker things, but he doesn't. I think there's been, in the modern takes of Joker, there's been this thing where it's like, oh, he'll just about kill anyone he comes across because he thinks it's funny. When I think maybe in the earlier days of Joker, that's not really his thing. Like, his thing is the big, the showman, over the top killing of a bunch of people.
I guess. I don't know because, like, this is, keep in mind, this was out in 96, 97.
Yeah.
This is kind of that era of, like, when villains want to scare each other, they tell Joker stories. That's a famous line that a villain said in a DC comic, I think before this story even came out.
I don't know, but I just feel like because of, like, the Heath Ledger version of Joker and, like, the Mark Hamill, the Arkham games and stuff, they were very much like,
He's a madman.
yeah, you're like super, super quick to fucking just kill a person.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm also like, this is after Death in the Family as well.
Oh.
So like
Yeah.
Joker's known for killing people, killing kids.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
It's just off. I still like it.
I think it could also be just part of his quote unquote humor in this moment of, like, he's the Grinch. He's acting like the Grinch.
Yeah,
So
I guess,
he's
yeah.
stealing their Christmas when in fact he fucking didn't kill them, and they're probably over there like,
Thank
thank
God.
God. Thank you.
Born again Christians right there.
Yeah, fucking baptized in sweat.
Oh yeah. So they're at Arkham Asylum. Jim lets Batman know that Joker's out. Batman's like, I know, I'll take care of it. It's not a big deal.
Let's not upgrade our security system.
No, not at all. Well, they live in a fucking Lovecraftian goddamn house at this point. That's all Arkham is.
It's just a streamer house for all the villains.
That's all it is. So
I'm sorry. We keep, like, going on tangents. There's a lot to cover, but I love picking at the logic in Batman stuff.
oh yeah, it's so easy.
Because sometimes one of my favorite things to do is enrage Batman fans. Because, you know, there's the whole, like, well, Batman with prep time can beat anything and stuff like that. So I like just
Bullshit.
rage bait like hardcore Batman fans. And to me, like, Batman universe stuff has some of the, like, dumbest, like, why are you not doing that? Like, again, like the fucking Arkham Asylum. How many times do these motherfuckers need to break out?
Do you want to know why? Because if fucking Gotham had the same type of prison that Metropolis has, it would destroy the aesthetic. That's all it is. It would destroy the aesthetic of Gotham, and it would fuck with Batman, and he would not like that.
He's like, Hey guys, so I actually, I'm friends with Bruce Wayne. He came up with this great idea for a prison.
Called a maximum security prison.
Yeah, called the maximum security prison. We have all the state of the art security systems. Would you like to implement this for the Arkham Asylum, residents? No. Can I ask why? We really like the broody theme we have going on, and we like the Lovecraftian, H.P. Lovecraft bullshit we got going on over there.
You are going to love when we cover Batman The Last Arkham then. Because that answers all of your problems.
It's just so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I love Batman, don't get me wrong, but fuck, dude. Invest in a fucking security camera.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Well, how about you invest in some guns?
Yeah.
And shoot these fucking assholes.
Yeah, Batman's not gonna kill him. You might as well take it on yourself.
So
it's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
So Batman and Jim are essentially we have no leads on who the holiday killer is. I can kind of see your point now where it's there's no leads until something happens that they just so happen to be there, and then there's a lead.
Yeah.
So just know I do love this story. For anybody who's listening, I love Batman The Long Halloween. I think it's probably one of my favorites. Not my favorite, but one of. I think Batman vs. Predator is a better story. Personal opinion.
Oh,
yeah.
You want to talk about hot takes here? I think that's more of a hot take than me thinking it's lackluster.
That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Still a great story, though. So Batman has the bright idea of, well, okay, we're dealing with somebody who kills on holidays. How about we go to the one person we know is still here
that does the same shit.
And they go to Calendar Man.
Yeah.
And Calendar Man gives them the runaround of oh, you still haven't caught her. And Batman's like, how do you know it's a woman? And Calendar Man's like, well, I don't know what his intentions are. That kind of shit where he's saying him and her in the same sentence.
But I guess maybe spoiler
alert. It is very foreshadowing.
It is very foreshadowing, but it is also the fact that he is telling the truth.
Yeah. He is somewhat telling the truth.
Yeah, he's not lying by saying her or his.
Yeah. So, spoilers, we won't tell you who it is. We know who it is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed by it.
Man, that's crazy that you're disappointed by it. Okay. So, yeah.
When we get to it, I'll explain.
Yeah,
I'll explain.
I know. So, Batman's essentially that's all I needed. And he leaves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean that's all you needed, Batman? What the fuck are you talking about? He didn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
He just named off some shit.
It's because Batman's the world's greatest detective, Ethan. That's all he needs is some bullshit, and he'll come back with a fucking nuclear reactor of this is why this is happening.
Well, we cut to Maroni's Italiano restaurant because, of course, he's Italian, so he's gotta have an Italian restaurant.
Capiche?
Yeah, he's fucking having Christmas dinner with his right hand man. I think his name is Toots. Yeah, his name's Toots.
Toots?
And good food and fun.
I've never had a good experience at Toots.
I've had a couple. I love their napalm chicken strips.
Never a single good experience. Every time I go there, it's either burnt to hell or fucking I'm missing shit.
That sucks.
Yeah, I never again. I'm never going to Toots again.
So Toots is having not good food and fun because he starts laughing like a goddamn maniac and then face plants into his Christmas spaghetti.
Yeah, and dies.
Yeah, he dies. And Maroni's like, what the fuck is going on? And that's when Joker's like, hey, what's up, man? And he pulls a gun out. And I do like it because Maroni starts to pull a gun out and Joker just says, mine's bigger. And then puts a big ass fucking gun to his head.
It's like a hand cannon from fucking Destiny. Just in his dome.
Yeah. He's got a fucking TF2 gun in his pocket. Yeah. So, and he asks Maroni, who is Holiday? And Maroni is like, I don't fucking know who Holiday is.
Yeah.
Now, we don't really get to see that conversation, but we can kind of infer that that's what it was. And Joker lets Maroni live.
Which is wild.
Yeah. crazy to me.
And Joker's like kind of his whole thing right now is like there can't be two homicidal maniacs.
Yeah, that's his driving thing. Yeah.
My theory is just that Holiday's been getting a lot of attention, and Joker's jealous of that.
100%. That's what it is. So Maroni gets his men to haul Toots off to the trunk of their Mercedes Benz to toss it off into the fucking canal, and Batman shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Maroni, what happened here tonight? Like, why do you have a dead body in the trunk of your fucking car?" And Maroni's like, "It was the Joker. I did not do this. I swear to God, I did not do this. It was the Joker."
Which you would think Batman looks down at the body, sees the fucking ear-to-ear grin on that dead body. It'd be like, I don't even need to ask questions.
Yeah. If I was Maroni, I would have looked at Batman and said, "Are you fucking stupid?
Are you for real asking me that right now?"
So Batman is like, "So what is Joker's connection to Holiday?" And Maroni's like, "I don't fucking know, but I know he's like goddamn maniac."
Yeah.
And that's essentially it.
Yeah.
And Maroni is like, "This town is starting to like get filled with more of you lunatics."
Yeah, which I think it's really funny because like constantly the mob is like just calling them, like even the villains, like freaks and stuff. Like it's interesting to see how the normal criminals view the superhuman or the masked villains and stuff in this light, because a lot of stuff, at least I've ingested of the Batman universe, it's always like kind of post that. So it's like the Joker or Bane or whatever, they have gangs that run everything. So it's interesting to see the prior version of that, where it's like before all the normal thugs and criminals are like, okay, well, we should probably work for the crazy clown motherfucker, you know, that is like trying to gas the whole city.
Yeah. So we cut to Dent bringing his wife to their new home. And, you know, it's a really cute scene because, you know, Gilda's like, "Oh my God, can we afford this?" And Dent's like, "No, we can't. So I'm just going to have to work twice as hard."
Yeah.
And he's like, "But if you're happy, I'm happy." And they get inside, and Gilda is like instantly like, "Oh, can we like, you know, try to have kids again?"
Yeah, she's ready to go to
I'm like, "Damn, bitch, you just got back from the hospital. You were still in a wheelchair."
She dedicated.
Yeah. And Dent notices something in the living room, and he's like, "Oh, we'll discuss this here in a little bit. How about you go upstairs and look around the house, get comfortable, and I'll be with you in just a second." And he charges into his fucking living room, and the Joker's like, "Merry Christmas, bitch!"
And he's immediately like, "Gilda, get the fuck out of here!"
Fucking run, bitch.
How your first house gets blown the fuck up
By the mob.
And then the second house, you get the fucking Jokers in your living room. At that point,
You're cursed.
I'd be like, this fucking city is like done. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Fuck
I'm
it.
moving to Metropolis.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
I can take on Lex Luthor. I can't take on Joker.
Like, at least in Metropolis, we have an invincible superhero that can fucking fly faster than the fucking speed of light.
Yeah.
So
Dent starts going hand to hand with Joker, starts whooping ass. Joker gets the upper hand on him, and, you know, he essentially says, like, he asks Dent, "What kind of man are you?" And he's like, "There's only enough room for two homicidal maniacs. So if I find out the buzz about you is true, I won't be so forgiving next time." And
yeah, because right now the rumor is kind of implicating that Harvey is Holiday.
Yeah, because he, out of everyone in the city, has the most to gain out of,
quote unquote.
Yeah, to gain out of the death of.
Which, to be fair, not necessarily.
No.
Because if he really wanted to benefit from Falcone and bringing him down, it would be by legal means.
Yeah.
Because then that would boost his reputation. He could become like
Mayor of Gotham.
Yeah, like his political fucking ammunition would be infinite. So like by killing the Falcone's people and stuff,
Right.
like that doesn't actually benefit him.
Now, obviously, as the readers, we get the benefit of knowing that Dent is not doing this for any type of gain. He's doing it because he believes it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, but that's off the books because he's technically not supposed to be working with Batman and Jim Gordon.
Yeah. I think it's kind of loose. Like
I agree.
He doesn't really have anything to gain by doing it.
Yeah, I agree. We cut to the Romans' penthouse where the Joker fucking sneaks in through the
pulls some Batman shit.
The top fucking floor window. And he fucking gets in. He wakes up Carmine and he's like, you're gonna find Holiday or I'm gonna kill everyone in this fucking city. And you're not gonna have a city to rule anymore.
Yeah.
So have a good Christmas. I'll see you later. And he starts to walk out. He's already killed all of his guards. Fucking one of his like right-hand man guys, like one of his bodyguard. Or I think it's his main bodyguard.
Yeah, it's his personal bodyguard.
Yeah, personal bodyguard. He tries to, get the Joker, but Joker gets in his car, drives away, and as Joker's driving away, another car pulls up and fucking shoots and kills him.
Yeah, it goes all black and white again. And this
leaves
time,
a snow globe.
Yep, this time left at the murder scene is a snow globe, which also should be mentioned every time there's one of these killings. The weapon is left there, as well as the
bottle nipple.
Yeah, the bottle nipple makeshift suppressor and the whatever fucking ornament.
Yeah,
or whatever
that corresponds
with
the
holiday. So
now, obviously, what is also left there, because I kind of missed this part, when the guy tries to stop Joker, Joker throws a bunch of cards in his face.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of Joker cards
all over
the place. So when Batman shows up, he instantly thinks Joker is Holiday,
which is not great detective work on Batman's part.
I agree.
Does any of these previous killings sound like Joker's MO?
Right.
At fucking all.
Now, I will say, if we had read The Man Who Laughs, you probably would think that.
Yeah, but
because in The Man Who Laughs, Joker does do some like fucking serial killer stuff where he like kind of plans things out and he makes it very subtle.
Yeah, but that's like because in my view, Joker's always the showman. Right?
Oh, he is. Yeah,
so
I agree.
Like he's already announced himself. He's had the big like.
Well, I mean, he's going to do it again.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to do it in this next chapter.
I don't see him as being. I would see him be like, well, that's a one-trick pony kind of thing. I don't want to do that. I need to do something else.
I completely agree with you.
If my 2.9 GPA brain can fucking think of that, I don't know why the world's greatest fucking detective can't think of that.
Yeah. Maybe it's because like Joker's fucking crazy and you can't expect him to do
I guess
anything. I don't know. I agree with you though. Just know that.
I fucking guess.
But Batman does say it's kind of a badass line, but it's also kind of like, oh shit, I think Batman might kill Joker, because he says, "Have a Merry Christmas, Joker. It will be your last." And I'm like, oh my God. Batman's gonna fucking kill the Joker.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the end of chapter 3, Christmas, and we jump to chapter 4.
The last laugh where he kills Joker.
The last laugh, yeah. We jump to New Year's Eve. Yeah, that was fucking fun. And Joker has absconded with this like crop duster biplane.
Yeah, had time to paint it up and everything too. Put a Joker face on it.
Yeah, and he like killed a bunch of like pilots and stewardess and all that kind of stuff. And
he's like, pilot, check. Co-pilot, check.
There's no
stewardess.
There's no smoking on this plane.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, oh shit, I'm late. Like he woke up late. Are you fucking serious? Yeah. And he's like, I still have time. And he grapples onto the plane. And while this is happening, Dent is having a late night at the office, and that's when we're introduced to the character of Vernon, who is essentially like his assistant that just recently got hired on.
It's the assistant DA
Yeah.
for Harvey.
Yeah.
Yep.
He essentially just got hired on, and Vernon, as Dent is leaving for the night, Vernon catches him and he's like, I have some important information about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That you might want.
Obvious red herring.
Yeah. And throughout all this chapter, Batman and Joker are having this fight while Maroni and Falcone are kind of hosting, or I guess it's more Falcone, is hosting this party.
On a yacht?
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it is a yacht. It's like a big ass fucking yacht.
It's fucking huge. It's like some Jeff Bezos money level.
Yeah. And, it is. And Maroni, I guess I should say, the Joker's plan is that in Gotham Square at midnight, obviously, it's like New York.
It's like the ball drop.
Yeah, it's the ball drop for New York. Joker is going to gas everyone at Gotham Square, and his thought process is essentially like, you and I both know that we don't know who Holiday is. So if I just gas Gotham Square, there's a good chance I might get Holiday and we both win.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to go World War I on him.
Yeah, I'm going to mustard gas them.
Yeah, Geneva Convention, more like Geneva Suggestion.
Yeah, essentially. So Maroni, or Falcone is talking to Maroni, and Falcone essentially says, like, it's real convenient that all of the killing so far for Holiday have been only my men.
Yeah.
People of my family. And Marley's like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no reason to fucking...
Yeah, like, it's bad business if I'm coming after you.
Yeah, like, we might be rivals, but I'm not going to fucking hurt my business. Like, we're both getting hit by this.
Yeah.
And Maroni just is like, whatever. Or not Maroni. Falcone's like, whatever. Have a great rest of the night. Have Happy New Year's. And Carla is kind of congratulating Falcone, or
she's being a bit snide about it because she's still pissed off that Holiday hasn't been caught.
Yeah.
So,
and this is when Falcone even makes the suggestion that Carla might be the Holiday killer.
Yeah.
And
which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. And she walks on, and we get this really nice moment where, Falcone is essentially like, or a lovely nest of vipers I've surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
Without my son Alberto, I would have no one I can trust. Famous last words. Because
funny enough,
black and white begins to show, and Alberto is standing on the side of the yacht looking down to the water as Carla is walking out onto the deck, and someone walks up behind Alberto, shoots him in the back of the head, and he falls over into the water.
But funny enough, you don't really actually see Alberto get shot. You hear a gunshot.
Yeah.
And then you no longer see Alberto, and you hear like the splash and stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't actually see Alberto get shot. Mm-hmm. And hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That'll come up later.
In a comic book, if you don't see a body, they ain't guaranteed dead.
Right.
So
Dent gets back home. Gilda's like, hey, I have a little surprise for you. She takes him to the living room, and Jim and Barbara are at their house, and they're going to all celebrate New Year's together, which is really cool, very sweet, and Dent immediately ruins the moment.
Yeah.
By going to the kitchen. Doesn't even say, like, thank you, or like, hey, I'm glad you guys are here. He just walks away.
Yep.
Jim goes to, talk to Dent, while Barbara and Gilda are, just kind of hanging out. And Gilda's like, it's like the classic detective type thing where, like, this work is like, it's affecting our marriage. Yeah. It's tearing us apart. And she eventually asks Barbara, like, when will I get my husband back?
Yeah.
And Barbara's like, she doesn't straight out say it, but she essentially is like, yeah, don't ever expect him back.
Yeah, like you're never...
Yeah, this is their line of work.
And I tell you what, you know who doesn't get enough credit in the Batman universe?
Who?
Fucking Jim's wife, Barbara.
Well, she's dead.
Well, now, yeah. But I'm saying, like, that woman was ride or die for that man.
Yeah, even after he cheated on her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for all her trouble, she got shot in the fucking stomach by the Joker.
I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Yep.
And all she was taking was L's, to be honest.
Yeah. So, and this is when Dent does the greatest analogy I've ever thought of, or I've ever read for a comic, because it reminds me so much of me late at night when I'm really hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, because he's standing in front of an open fridge and he says, you ever stand in front of an open fridge, Jimbo, looking for something that's staring you right in the face? And I'm like, damn. Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
And what's staring me in the face is I ain't got no fucking food in the fridge.
Man, I should have left some for later.
Yeah, no, my fat ass ate it all. So, but of course, the metaphor, all that shit. Yeah. And Jim's like, what happened today, Dent? And Harvey is essentially like, we need to talk to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And this begins the idea that Bruce Wayne is the holiday killer.
Yeah. Oh, at first it starts off, well, I think Bruce Wayne is in cahoots with Falcone.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah, and then it devolves into, well, maybe Bruce Wayne is the holiday killer.
Yeah.
Which obviously, as the reader, we know is not fucking true.
That's not fucking true. So we cut back to Bruce and Joker, or Batman and Joker, fucking fighting each other.
Yeah.
And it hits midnight, and Batman, of course, is able to stop Joker just in time.
Yeah. They
Jesus. Oh my God. I'm going to have to blur that out.
Sorry.
Everyone's going to wonder what that joke was, because I'm going to bleep it out. You'll never know.
I promise it was nothing homophobic or anything like that. All right, let's move on before I say any more dumb shit.
So the coroner, this is June 6th. The coroner takes Carmine to the shore where a body has turned up, and he essentially says, like, the seagulls have gotten to it, and Falcone's like, I want to be by myself. And we just get a big full-page panel of Carmine on his knees crying, and he just says, Alberto.
Yeah.
So,
which kind of, like the whole thing, like, oh, the seagulls really did a number on him.
Yeah.
Really masked for, like, later.
Yeah. So, chapter 5 is Valentine's Day. We are in February. Alfred opens the door to Jim Gordon and Harvey Dent, and it's like, Master Wayne's not here.
Yeah, I love Alfred's very classy, roundabout way of telling him, you realize he's probably out there fucking.
Yeah, he's like, Master Wayne is a very popular man. You get what I mean.
And it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And then he's like, don't you have, like, wives that you should probably be home with on Valentine's Day?
So he's essentially telling him, like, man, Master Wayne's not here. If you want to come back later on not a holiday.
Yeah. Which then they show up again
on a holiday. And Alfred's like, are you guys fucking stupid? I would hope not. You're in positions of power.
Yeah, no wonder crime's gotten so fucking crazy out here.
You guys can't stop a fucking clown. Jesus. So, on February 14th, which this is very important for later, because if you look on Alberto's gravestone, you see that he was born February 14th, which is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That is very important later. Carmine puts a rose on his son's grave, and Batman's there. And he is like, Batman asks him, like, was it worth it? And Falcone is like, what are you talking about? And Bruce says, the price of your son was all of your money, all of your crime, everything you've done. Was it worth it? And Falcone is like, oh, fuck this. Like, I'm not, no. Like,
Yeah.
you wear a mask. You fucking hide behind this stupid identity. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this trigger now, and I'm going to fucking bury you in an empty, unmarked hole.
You know how many people have pulled guns on Batman?
A lot, but not a lot of them talk shit to Batman in the same way.
That's true, but it's like Falcone. Come on, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're a single old dude in a fucking cemetery right now.
Yeah.
When like gangs of dudes with guns have not been able to take him down.
Yeah. But before he can pull the trigger, Catwoman saves him. And I keep doing it. I've done it so much.
Yeah. I've been letting it slide.
Yeah, I know you have. Batman is like, are you following me? And Catwoman's essentially like, well, you could say thank you. That could be the first thing you say. And it's just a weird interaction because they end it with Batman catching her, but then it immediately cuts to later in the day. And I guess he just let Catwoman go.
As he does.
Which, again, is weird. He would have just arrested her.
No, he
Or
wouldn't have.
maybe he would have unmasked her.
No, he wouldn't have.
Because he, like, caught her.
Yeah.
But either way, Bruce apologizes for being late
To Selina.
to Selina.
I will say also before we go a little bit farther, there is one thing in the narration that keeps popping up every time Catwoman is around, is that Batman acknowledges every time he's near Falcone, Catwoman is not that far off.
Yeah. There is a reason for that.
Yeah.
It does not get explained until you read her side story, When in Rome.
Oh, okay.
Which I can tell you what it is.
I mean, you can. Big spoiler warning.
Big spoiler warning. If you do not want to hear it, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
jump ahead like a minute and a half.
Not even. Like, she is Carmine's daughter.
So it's just like the Batman.
It is.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the big mystery.
All right.
That's where I'm telling you, Batman. The Batman. This is essentially the Batman.
Yeah.
This story.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So Bruce apologizes for being late, and Selina's like, "Oh, did you cut yourself shaving?" Because he has a cut on his face from Selina, or from Catwoman, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I cut myself while shaving." She was like, "You should have somebody do that for you since you're like rich.
super rich." Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, Alfred offered," and she was like, "No, I mean like a woman
like
do
me."
that." Yeah. And while they're talking, a robed individual, a fucking monk,
the Wicked Witch of the West shows up,
and is like, would the gentleman like to buy a rose for the lady?"
Yeah.
And Selina buys it for him. And as he's going to grab it, he gets cut. And, the robed person is,
ominous, to say the least.
She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." And she smiles, and she's got pure white skin with green lipstick. And you instantly know.
I didn't instantly know.
You didn't?
I didn't instantly pick up on it.
You want to know how I instantly picked up on it? If you look at the back of her design,
Yeah.
she's got ivy
Yeah.
for hair.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge fan of that. Having like plants for hair. I like the red hair.
We're going to disagree because I actually really like her design in this.
Okay. So at Maroni's restaurant, Vernon is basically chumming it up with Maroni. Turns out Vernon is an informant for Maroni.
Yep.
And is leading Harvey on like wild goose chases for shit. And there's a bunch of bodyguards sitting outside the Maroni's restaurant, and it turns to black and white.
Yeah.
And
one of them's like, my wife bitched about me working.
Yeah, essentially.
On Valentine's Day.
They're shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And the car gets shot up, blown up, and there's a little box of chocolates sitting by the car.
Yep.
And Maroni is pissed. He's like, "Fine, you want war? I will fucking give you war." To end the chapter off,
Jim and Harvey, they go home
to their respective wives
in the middle of the fucking night.
in the middle of the night, while Bruce gets home. It completely ignores Alfred for the most part, and walks straight up to Poison Ivy and fucking kisses her.
Yeah, because she's like...
Or embraces her.
In Wayne Manor.
Yeah, she is, yeah. And, of course, Poison Ivy has the ability to control people. Mostly men. I think it's just men.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just men.
So...
But yeah, I really like her design in this. So the reason why I don't mind the like plants as hair, because her whole thing of being like, you know, not liking humans and taking, I guess you could say, the plants side, Mother Nature side of things, the fact that she looks less human and more like kind of like a fae or magical creature, it just makes more sense to me. You know, like I don't know, it jives right for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, like classic Ivy with red hair is great and all, but I'm the type of person I like to see different iterations of characters.
No, that's
as far as
fine.
design goes, and I really like this one.
I do too. I like seeing different takes on characters. Yeah. It's just this one doesn't do it for me. But I mean, again, everyone's.
And I just like how like constantly when it shows her, it's just like the ivy and the plants constantly like just growing around her. I think that's really cool. It
fits the aesthetic of Tim Sale's artwork.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say that. It's 100%. Just for me, it's not.
Right.
So chapter 6 is St. Patrick's Day, which is also cool because, you know, we've been talking about her hair. On the cover for the St. Patrick's Day, instead of it being just like ivy vines, it's clovers.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was cool. So there is a character who gets introduced this chapter, and that is Sophia Falcone, who is the daughter of the Carmine, the Roman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched the Penguin Show.
I have not yet.
She's in that.
She's played by that one actress, right? A lot of people were like gooning over her.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. yeah. All right.
So she gets introduced. Bruce Wayne is like all in on
Ivy.
Well, not just Ivy, but he's all in on doing business with Falcone now.
Yeah.
That is where we now get the hint that Falcone is working with like the masked goons and criminals of the underworld.
It's definitely starting to tease that idea. It isn't solidified, I think, until the end of this issue.
This is one of those really quick issues, I will say that.
Yeah. But fucking Bruce, after having the conversation with Falcone and like the board of directors or whatever, being like, I'm in support of this action. My name's Bruce Wayne. This is my favorite shop on the Citadel. Because he's very like super monotone and everything, in my head at least. He leaves and Selena's there and just straight up fucking ignores her.
Yeah, which she thinks is weird.
And then he gets in the car and she notices
Ivy.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, fuck.
So they've had a run-in together before.
It must have. Which
comes into play because when Bruce Wayne gets back home, Ivy is already there. They're having dinner, and then Catwoman jumps in.
Yeah. And Bruce keeps talking about the green. He's like, everything feels so foggy, like the greenness and all that stuff. But yeah, Catwoman shows up and is basically like, hands off my fucking man.
And she ends up freeing Bruce from his prison.
I another thing to the whole Ivy design is I like the fact that her like quote unquote infection, it isn't just like their eyes are green. It's like literal plant growth on them.
Yeah, I like that too. We cut to black and white, and kind of what you said with the whole like this doesn't make sense with the silencer thing. The holiday killer unloads on a bunch of dudes inside a house,
and that's done by a 22.
Oh yeah, they do mention that the killer's weapon is always a 22 caliber pistol.
Bull fucking shit. That gun is shooting through like doors and glass and still being fucking accurate, if at all penetrating.
Yeah, I agree.
Bull fucking shit.
I agree, especially when you find out who one of the holiday are.
Like, dude, you should have made it at least like a 9.
Yeah,
I agree. A 9 mil.
Yeah.
Because a 22, I'm sorry, it's not.
It's too small.
Yeah.
It's too small, not accurate.
Now, going for the like quiet, 22 would work 100%. 22s are actually fairly quiet. But as far as like shooting up the guys in the car and making it explode, a 22's not doing that. I am fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no hate. I'm just saying, like, you just chose something else.
Right. So, the Holiday Killer has actually just killed a bunch of Maroni's men.
Yep.
And you find out that the reason why Sophia was released from prison was because Carmine wanted her. Obviously, he has the power to release people.
Yeah.
But he wanted her to carry out a hit on the Maroni family. And Holiday beat
them to it.
Yep. But Maroni still saw Sophia pull up.
Yeah.
And so now Maroni thinks that Falcone is in cahoots with Holiday.
Yep. Is or in cahoots.
Yeah.
Either he either knows who it is or is Holiday.
Yeah. So that's basically all for chapter 6. Chapter 6 is one of those really quick ones that doesn't have a whole lot going on in it. Chapter 7 is April Fool's Day.
Yeah. I do not like this.
You don't like this chapter? I definitely think it's one of the weakest, but I do like the joke at the end of it.
I do like the joke at the end of it. Quote unquote, the joke.
This has that problem you were mentioning to me, because this was the first thing I thought of when you said that you didn't like the whole throwing names out.
Yeah, they're just the entire time. It's just them. There's no like detective work. It's just like
it's just guessing.
Yeah, they're just guesstimating.
So essentially, what this chapter is it's told from two perspectives. It's told from Batman's perspective and Riddler's perspective. Yeah. This is kind of your first introduction to Riddler in the city of Gotham.
Yeah.
For the most part. And it is them saying that it could be any number of people who did it, and they pull up people like Catwoman.
Yeah.
Who, they say, oh, well, a 22 caliber, it's light, it's perfect for a man to use or a woman.
Yeah.
And Catwoman broke into Maroni's safe on the night of the wedding, so there's a chance that Falcone's safe on the night of the wedding, so she has a bunch of information on it.
Yeah, she could have the ledger that went missing, which we know.
Right,
Batman gave that to Harvey.
And then Batman says, well, Maroni is the rival of Falcone, and if he takes out Falcone, he's the next biggest guy out there.
Yeah.
And so he has the most motivation to take out not just Falcone, like Carmine Falcone, but his son.
Mm-hmm.
And, then they bring up Carla.
Yeah.
The sister says like, oh, okay, well, she's in charge of Chicago.
Yeah.
And maybe she killed her son. So that way, basically no suspicion would be, pointed against her.
Yeah.
And she could kill indiscriminately and then eventually take over Gotham because they want to expand into Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a bunch of them just like being like, well, they're basically forcing like things to fit on people. And it's like, okay, like maybe there's some plausibility because they don't have some of the information as a reader we do, like the Catwoman thing. Mm-hmm. But it's also like Catwoman hasn't really killed before.
No.
Like that's not her shtick. She robs people.
No. But she's not opposed to killing.
I'm not, but it's kind of like a last resort thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Like she's not breaking into fucking Falcone shit just to get information to start murdering his operation. She don't work that way.
Right.
And like, I'm like, okay,
it's flimsy.
It's flimsy. They're just throwing names out. And like, it's just red herring after red herring. Like, I think this issue is purposefully just trying to confuse the reader rather than having a good enough mystery from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a key to me in a detective-like story or a noir-like story is to have a somewhat visible, like, breadcrumb trail
Yeah.
for the reader to follow.
Yeah.
There is not one in this story.
Okay.
Like, at least I don't think so. And maybe I'm just stupid and didn't notice it, but I do not feel like there's a genuine, like, breadcrumb trail to follow from start to finish. I'm not saying it has to be obvious and, like, blatant, like, in flashing neon lights, like, hey, here's the evidence and stuff like that. But not until, like, the last 2 issues was I, like, even remotely thinking the culprit was who it was.
Right. Yeah, I can understand.
Which
that.
by the end of a run like that, you should at least have some idea of, like, oh, it could be this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think they red herring, and then they throw another red herring, and then they do a fucking twist at the end, and it's like, if you were just going to do a twist at the end, there should have been, like, maybe one red herring that you threw in there.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it's just too much, and I think it's all deliberately trying to confuse the reader rather than being able to stand on its own legs as a, you know, thought-out crime detective story.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, Bruce, Batman, he determines that it could only be potentially one person. Harvey Dent, because he's the only one with the motivation.
And again, that's really reaching, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to fuck up Falcone.
Yeah.
That's a reach in itself.
Yeah. So, it turns out you are Falcone, because Falcone straight up says, Riddler, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You've just told me a bunch of names that it could potentially be, and you haven't given a reason why.
Yeah, and any kind of answer.
Yeah, you've just said, hey, it could be this person. And he's like, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my daughter crush your head if you don't give me an answer that I like here in the next few seconds. And essentially he was just fucking with Riddler, because Riddler's like about to shit himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, throw Riddler out on the street. And
take him out the side door.
Yeah. Turns black and white. Riddler gets thrown out in the alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
And a gunman points the gun at Riddler and shoots
a fucking outline.
An outline around him. And Riddler says, when does a killer not kill?
And back to the gun thing. That handgun, that thing does not look like it holds more than maybe 10 bullets.
No, there's no way.
And there's at least like close to 40 bullet holes.
Yeah.
So unless the Riddler stood there and gave him a chance to fucking reload a couple times, like, I'm nitpicking, but I just think it's funny to me.
Yeah. So that's the end of Chapter 7.
Yeah.
Chapter 8 is Mother's Day. Open with Calendar Man looking absolutely creepy, talking with Batman.
Yeah.
And he has this conversation of, why didn't the holiday killer kill on April Fool's Day? And the Calendar Man ignores that question.
Yeah.
And just says, oh, he made an outline around the Riddler. Perhaps maybe he takes the date seriously. Yeah. That kind of deal.
Like, you're expecting him to kill on the holiday, so that April Fool's is that you expected that, but he didn't do that. Hence, April Fool's.
Right. And Calendar Man then says, like, if you let me out, I'll help you stop holiday.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, no.
That's I have.
That's completely out of the question, you fucking psychopath.
Why? Come on. Why can't you get out of here like every other criminal?
Right.
Why are you like one of the only criminals that actually stays in here?
Well, because he's just a fat bald guy.
That's true.
So, that's really it.
I mean, Joker's just a crazy clown.
Yeah, but he's like fucking supernatural or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So they, Calendar Man starts giving this nonsense spiel about, how Holiday has a mother too, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day, and that's when a guard comes running in, being like, "Oh, Jiminy Cricket, fucking help me, Batman," that kind of shit. And Bruce is like, what's going
He's
on?
like, did the Joker break out again?
And he's running around. He sees all these guards like fucking terrified, like fucking cradling back and forth. They're scared, and Batman's like, okay, it's Scarecrow. There's only one person that could have done this. And he's like, oh, Straw. He used Straw to break out. And I'm like, what? Excuse me?
I don't fucking know.
So, and then that's when we get this really badass fucking double spread picture of Scarecrow riding a horse.
It's very, what is it? The Headless Horseman.
Oh, Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like this design for Scarecrow.
I like it as well. It's not my favorite, but I do like it, and it fits everything else super well as well.
Fits the aesthetic.
Yeah, it's very good.
But
Batman just appears.
Yeah, he fucking appears and he says, "You thought you could get away, could you?"
Yeah.
And Scarecrow's like, "Oh my god!"
He's like, "I hope you're clinching, cause I'm here."
So he starts whooping Scarecrow's ass, but then that's when you find out that he has like fear toxin in his mask, and he kind of
he manages to fear toxin fucking Batman.
Yeah, and he of course starts freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
Gordon I think it's just Gordon. Gordon goes to Bruce's mansion, and fucking Alfred's like, yet again, you showed up on a fucking holiday. Like, you guys love to show up when a rich billionaire likes to go
party
out.
Or something.
Yeah. So he does say, like, today's Mother's Day. You should know that that's a very important day for Master Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, he's very devoted to his mother. And, all that.
Yeah.
All that good spiel.
Martha.
Yeah, Martha. No. Martha. Where did you hear that name? That kind of shit.
Where'd you hear that name?
Shut the fuck up.
Martha.
At the same time, Sophia is interrogating this. I don't know who this is supposed to be. It's just some guy that she's interrogating over. She's like holding him over the Gotham City Bridge because Sophia is a shit brick house. She's massive. She could take on Solomon Grundy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And she's like, who makes the custom 22 pistol?
Yeah.
And he
says it's some guy in Chinatown.
Yeah. And she's like, if you tell me, I'll let you go. And
fucking drops him.
Yeah, she just drops him right off the bridge.
Lets him go.
Yeah. By the time she shows up, it's black and white. She walks in, she sees a basket that says mother, and the guy who makes the pistol is dead.
Yeah. Already dead.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I did find interesting is that some of the killings weren't just against Falcone. It was like to cover their own tracks.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that it's not like they're not above killing people to benefit themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a one-track mind, which I think lends a fault to that detective, like, the breadcrumb thing.
Yeah.
Because the killer kept always being a step ahead and killing the leads, it's like, well, what do we have to follow to piece this puzzle together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand that.
Like, especially considering who the killers are.
Because there are two killers.
Yeah.
Both killers obviously have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
But also their motivations
vastly different. And also technically both aren't a part of that world.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
At least one of them.
Yeah. Well,
do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yes. Like, I can see what you're saying now.
There's not anything to help the reader like piece it together along with the protagonists.
I think I get what you're saying because I think the story is well written.
Yeah.
But I think I now see what you're saying where it's like it's a well written story and the characters are very well written.
Yeah.
but the plot is paper thin.
Yeah, it's super flimsy. If it wasn't for the fact that the characters weren't written really well and stuff like that, this story would not be, I think, nearly as regarded.
Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah. So to end this chapter off, we cut to Bruce walking through Crime Alley. I'm assuming some time has passed since he was hit by Scarecrow's fear toxin.
But he's still under the effects. Yeah.
And he has this monologue of like, oh, wanted her to wear pearls that day, that we went. And he's talking about the pearls. He was like, we made her wear it.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And
it's always the pearls.
Yeah. And Gordon finds Wayne in Crime Alley. And Bruce books it.
Yeah,
he gets the fuck out of
Bruce
there.
thinks he's seeing like the killer.
Yeah,
and like
he's trying to save her.
Yeah,
he's trying to save his mom, and fucking he does some ninja moves on here. If Jim Gordon didn't know Bruce was Batman by this point,
I'd be like sus.
Oh yeah,
sus.
Yes. But of course, I am under the impression that Jim Gordon has always known that Bruce is Batman. So
I mean, we can bring up the fact, like we talked about in Batman Year One, that rich playboy, fucking Bruce Wayne shows up to town. Man, you know who also just showed up to fucking town? This guy who dresses as a fucking bat and beats up criminals.
Beats up the poor and impoverished.
Yeah, like,
that sounds about right.
But he's not commissioner yet. He's only captain. He's he
doesn't got all the fucking, his brain's not completely
the frontal
wrinkled.
Lobe isn't completely developed.
Yeah, it's still smooth. So yeah, they fucking track Wayne down to the cemetery on Wayne Manor.
Yeah,
that Bruce's parents are fucking buried. Bruce is a fucking mess, and they arrest his ass.
Yeah,
because he technically ran from the cops.
Yeah. And then what is it? What holiday? Independent?
No, Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Yeah, because it's May is Mother's Day.
Yeah.
June is Father's Day.
Yeah.
And I will say I really love the covers for both issues because Mother's Day is child Bruce putting a single rose on his mother's grave, while Father's Day is an adult. Like Batman. It's Batman, holding a bouquet of roses, standing like looking at his father's grave. Which I find that
I do cool. Like the different issue like covers.
Oh yeah, they're great.
I think they're really well drawn.
I do too. I think Dark Victory has better covers.
I haven't seen, so
we'll get to it. We're gonna cover Dark Victory soon because that's just kind of next in the Batman mythos. So this issue is mostly Bruce in a jail cell. Yeah. Just reminiscing on his father. And this is where we get the explanation of how does the Wayne family connect to the Falcone family. Right. And it turns out, just like the Batman movie, one day Falcone's father showed up on his doorstep. And Carmine, who at that time was not the leader of the Falcone family, was shot multiple times in the chest. Yeah. And the only person that Carmine's father could go to was, Dr. Wayne, Thomas Wayne. And Thomas, being a doctor, his Hippocratic oath. He signed an oath to always save people. Yeah, no matter the reason
or who they are,
all that kind of stuff. And he's like, you should get him to an actual hospital. Like, I don't have everything here. And Carmine's father's like, no hospitals. Make it work. Yeah. And he's like, you name a price. No price is too big. Yeah. And Thomas is like, I don't need money. Like, that's not like, I will never need money. And Carmine's father is essentially like, well, since you don't need money, maybe it's good to have a friend. Yeah. Essentially hinting that
saying like I'll owe you a favor.
Yeah. Which kind of like sows the seeds that maybe the Waynes aren't as squeaky clean as they seem to be. Yeah. Which I've always hated that.
I'm not a fan of it either. I didn't like it when they did it in the Batman. I'm not a really big fan of that concept either.
I have always hated the idea that Bruce's entire mission and identity is centered around like my parents were good people who never did anything wrong, and yet they got punished.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and say, well, no, they actually weren't. They were actually corrupt just like everyone else, and your mission's a lie.
Yeah.
I've always hated that.
Because it really does kind of shaft his whole stance.
Yeah.
Like his whole philosophy.
Because let me tell you, now, granted, I'm not Batman. You know, I'm not a superhero. If I heard that, I'd just stop being a superhero.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, shit.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you could make the argument of like, well, yes, that was a lie. Look at all the good you've done. It's like,
Yeah,
that's
and then,
true.
And then I guess you could go the route of like, well, you can make up for your family.
You being Batman is like penance, essentially. But either way,
I'm not a fan of it either. I do think it could work if implemented correctly. But I'm also not a huge fan of that concept either.
Yeah. So while Bruce is in this jail cell reminiscing on that night that his father saved Carmine's life, and I will say it is very interesting because Bruce has this inner monologue of like, if my father had not saved him, he would probably still be alive.
Yep.
And the city would probably be better, and I would have never had to become Batman. Yep. Essentially, like, inadvertently blaming his father for the creation of Batman.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't think it's out of any kind of resentment.
No, that's why I said it's inadvertently.
Yeah.
Where he's like, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight's fucking 20/20.
And I think part of Bruce respects that despite everything, his father held true to his oath.
Yeah.
And that encourages Bruce to, hold strong to his oath as Batman.
Right. I agree. So while that's happening, there is a court hearing going on where Harvey Dent is grilling Alfred Pennyworth on Bruce's connection to the Falcone family.
Ain't phased a fucking bit.
Oh, yeah.
Alfred's stone cold, dude.
When it comes to Bruce, that's his boy.
Yeah.
That is his son.
Yeah.
He is not going to rat on his fucking son.
It's crazy because Alfred's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, 100%.
In fucking Batman.
Oh, yeah. In comics in general.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love that, like, all of the, like, Batman, Nightwing, all the Robins, they're like, no guns, no killing, all that stuff. The moment you break into Batman's fucking house and start hurting his boys, Alfred's like, fuck that. Yeah. I don't have no fucking rule about that.
Yeah.
I'll fucking shoot your ass. I'm a 70-year-old goddamn man. I can't fight like them.
I mean, he did beat the shit out of Superman.
That is true. But that was with like the help of a drug.
Okay, still, he fucking threw hands with Superman and whooped his fucking ass.
Yeah. And the only reason he let him live was because that was his friend at one point.
Yeah.
But no, I love Alfred because he straight up is like, fuck that no killing rule. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I will fucking shoot you.
He'll be like, I'll think about it for an extra second because it's fucking Bruce's motto. But honestly, I don't give a shit.
The next time you leave this house, we'll be in fucking pieces.
Alfred's so fucking stone cold.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
He's metal as fuck. Alfred is.
Yeah, Alfred has the metal seal of approval.
Yeah, he's certified metal as fuck.
Certified metal as fuck.
The first character ever to get the certified metal as fuck seal of approval.
Alfred, dude.
So
we stan Alfred around here, dude.
100%. One of the best characters. So while that's going on, Maroni is talking to his father, who obviously is the former head of the Maroni crime family. And his name's Luigi. That's his name.
Yeah.
Because it's Sullivan. That's the current Maroni that's leading. And then Luigi Maroni.
And his brother Mario.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what to do, Dad. And his dad's like, well, maybe you could be a fucking man and grow up and do what needs to be done and take care of, I don't know, the DA, the GCPD captain,
he's basically
the fucking bat.
Yeah, he's saying kill them all.
Yeah,
basically.
like you need to show that the Maroni family is not to be messed with, and that's when you find out like Luigi Maroney is the one who actually shot Carmine
Yeah.
5 times in the chest. And while he's having this conversation with his dad, it turns black and white because they're in the middle of this like peach garden type thing. It's like an orchard.
Yeah,
almost.
it's a really intricate garden.
Yeah. And in the bushes, you see a cloaked figure pull a gun out and shoot Luigi Maroney in the chest.
Yeah.
There are guard dogs everywhere, and they start chasing this person, by the way. And somehow they had enough time to set the gun down, the 2 bullets that were used, the silencer, and a box with a tie in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that, but aesthetic.
Unless the only way I could see is they had the box
Already set.
Yeah,
already set. Yeah.
And you know, like I don't know, they'd have to be fucking skilled where they could like catch the casings in the air for the bullets and then just like all the while the fucking hounds are coming after you. Nah, fuck that.
So
it's comic logic though.
Yeah, comic logic. So after that whole fucking event, James Gordon, he gets home. He tells his son, you know, he's already asleep, but he's got like a present for him, and it says "For Dada." Yeah. He opens the box, and it's a tie that has a bunch of little handprints on it, and it's a really cute.
Yeah, really wholesome.
Yeah, because he says, well, it's only the best Father's Day present a dad could ask for. Sweet dreams, my son. Yeah. And he puts it on, and Barbara's watching him, and it's a very sweet moment. Other side of that coin.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Gilda is looking for Harvey, and she's like, "Oh, Harvey, are you here?" And he's like, "Oh, I went to go see my dad. He's still fucking crazy, but he gave me a gift." And he's like, he gave me his old coin, which is a double-sided heads coin. Yeah. You know, a little bit of foreshadowing there, am I right?
To the like 5 non-Batman knowing people, that's foreshadowing.
Yep. So in this warehouse that Falcone owns, fucking Riddler and Mad Hatter are just
chilling.
They're just yucking it up. They're like fucking rhyming and telling nurseries and fucking.
They're a bunch of fucking nerds.
Yeah, they are. Dude, these 2 are nerds.
They're fucking crazy, but they're fucking nerds.
Now, I will say, Batman kind of deduces that Scarecrow could not have gotten out by himself.
Yeah.
And he figures out that Mad Hatter is one of the people that helped. And, you know, obviously Carmine Falcone is the one that orchestrated all of it.
Where we've gotten to the point where it's pretty much set, like, Falcone's been hiring fucking weirdos left and right.
Yep. And that's really all we get of that. It'll come back later, obviously. Fucking Bruce Wayne is at his manor, and he's reminiscing on his father, and he eventually says, like, is all of this worth it? Like, all the lives, all the violence, everything that I've done up until now, is all of this truly like an accomplishment?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, I tell myself what would have happened if he hadn't helped, you know, the Falcones. Like, what kind of father would he have been?
What kind of life would I have had?
Yeah. And Alfred says, like, you know, he says something along the lines of, like, I wonder that myself. What if I had been a better father to you?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a really sad moment.
Yeah, because I think Alfred is like...
That's his dad.
Yeah, it's his dad, but also at the same time, it's like, kind of, what do you do when this grief-stricken, like, 12-year-old boy is just kind of thrown in your lap?
Yeah.
You know, like...
You didn't ask for that.
I mean, like, yeah, you're the family butler, but your duties as a butler is not the same as the duties as a father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you're essentially like a maid.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you really are. Now, not only are you having to do, like, physical, like, taking care of and chores, but now emotionally and, like, development-wise, like, having to teach them. And, yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah. So we have this kind of nice moment where, you know, Bruce sits on the stairs and he just tells Alfred, like, I just miss him, and is there anything wrong with that? And Alfred's like, no, there's nothing wrong with that. You're very much your father's son. you know, and it's really nice. It's a cute moment between him and Alfred, but it's also a very sad moment.
Yeah.
But at the end of this chapter, Dent and Vernon go back to the DA office. Vernon has something for Dent, and that's when you find out Maroni is standing there, and he's like, you know, I'm ready to take down Falcone.
Yeah.
Like, you want me, I want Falcone. We're gonna do this together.
Yep.
And that is the end of chapter 9.
Now it's Independence.
Yep. Chapter 10 is Independence Day. We are in July. We are in the home stretch of this.
Yep.
This very long story.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, this would be a two-parter. We talked about this before we started recording. Normally, this would be a two-parter, but because we want this to come out on Halloween, we're hoping that everyone will just sit through this whole thing in one go. So,
but chapter 10 opens up straight up, black and white. The coroner is killed and falls off the docks. And really beautiful double page splash of the city in black and white with the fireworks being the only color.
Yeah.
Which is
really cool.
Really nice. Yeah.
I love shit like that so much.
I do too.
It's so pleasing to the eye.
Yeah. And of course, Batman is spending Independence Day with Selina, and, you know, they're, of course, getting a little
frisky.
Yeah. And Selina actually brings up the idea of, like, you know, we could leave this city.
Yeah.
Like, we could go places.
Well, she does ask him, like, why haven't you left?
Yeah.
Like, you're so rich, you could literally go live anywhere. Why are you still in Gotham, knowing what kind of a pile of shit it is?
And he does say, like, I did leave.
Yeah.
I left at one point, but something brought me back. And when I came back, I made a promise to my parents.
Yeah. Just doesn't mention the fact that when he left, he was training to become Batman.
Yeah.
He didn't go see Liam Neeson and train with League of Shadows, you know.
So, you know, they're fucking mingling and smooching, and then the bat signal comes on, and Bruce is like, "Oh, I got diarrhea or something," and he's like, "I gotta get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And he leaves, and it's Dent, and of course, Batman's like not friendly with him because he's like, well, this bitch fucking just tried to get me arrested, so fuck you.
That was my friend.
Yeah.
You arrested.
Yeah, my friend.
Yeah.
It's at this point we see Dent is flipping the coin, and something that they start doing that I really like. They actually technically started this when they first reveal the coin. Mm-hmm. Dent is now always halfway shadowed.
Yeah.
On one side. And
which is really cool.
Yeah, which of course is a big part of foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this part caught me off guard.
This part caught me off guard as well. So Dent calls this meeting, they're all talking, and Gordon reveals, like, oh, there's been another killing. It was a civilian. Of course, it's the coroner. Yeah. At the GCPD, Sophia Falcone and Vernon go to meet Salvatore Maroni.
Yeah.
And fucking they just start making out.
Apparently, Sophia took the rap for Maroni on a different killing or something like that. Was doing her time in jail,
which is where she was
when they got her out.
Yeah.
But she had been, I guess, sleeping or in a relationship with Maroni the entire time. So, like, how Falcone didn't know about that is beyond me.
Yeah, I don't.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good on, well, probably because he knew he probably would have been killed, but good on Maroni in all the times that he got fucking pissed at Falcone. Yeah. He wasn't like, you know what? That's why I'm fucking your daughter.
Yeah. Oh, God, dude. Could you imagine?
Dude, Falcone would have just been like, waste him right there and then.
He would have shot him himself.
Yeah. Ugh.
So, yeah, they get to the dock. They're looking at it. And Batman, straight off the rip, is like, do we know the whereabouts of Harvey Dent when this killing happened?
Yeah, because he's getting more and more sold on the idea that Harvey is Holiday.
Yeah. So while he's discussing that with Gordon at the Gotham City Bank, in their fucking Sleepy Hollow carriage, Mad Hatter and Scarecrow have absolutely stolen all the money out of the bank. First off, they hit it with like a nuke.
Yeah, of like his fear toxin. And shit. Yeah,
and they're fucking rhyming and singing and
having a good old time.
Let me just say, I hate that. Like Scarecrow isn't
no
a fucking Neanderthal.
Yeah, he's not comic relief.
Yeah, he's a serious character.
Yeah,
like Mad Hatter can be a comedic character, not fucking Scarecrow.
Yeah, Scarecrow, I feel like was misused in this.
I agree. His design is so cool, and he's not used properly.
He's misused.
Yeah. Well, Batman immediately jumps up on the scene and just
quickly takes care of
just whoops their asses. Of course, Catwoman shows up.
Yeah.
And she kind of gives him the same line as Selina gives Bruce, where it's like, we could go places.
Yeah.
We can do other things. And fucking Batman is essentially like, you know, the Roman orchestrated like this bank heist. Do you want in? And Catwoman's like, that's not what I meant. And that's when she is kind of like, okay, bye.
Yeah. She kind of leaves.
Yeah. So that's basically the end of Independence Day. Like in that chapter.
Not a whole lot happens.
Once you get to these later chapters, it starts to get
moving real quick until you get to the very end.
Yeah. Chapter 11 is the Roman holiday, which also just so happens to be Carmine's birthday. Mm-hmm. Gilda asks Harvey to tell her the truth because she has found a gun with the same type of wrapping on the handle and the filed off serial number. And Dent plays it off as like, it's evidence. Like, I brought it home from the office. And Gilda's like, when have you ever, brought home evidence? And he's like, I do it all the time. And she's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
So I know you're frustrated. I know.
Yeah.
Now, this chapter takes place in the daytime because this bartender is looking at Batman and is like, I thought you came out at night.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, I mean, I do, but I'm looking for someone. Where is he?
Yeah. He even says the Batman has more effect at night.
He's like, they're superstitious, but they're not fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
because in the daytime, you kind of just look like a dude in a bat costume.
Yeah, you just look like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
So he whoops all these guys' asses, and that's when he finds Riddler, because this is Riddler's hideout.
And he's drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Drunk as fuck.
Yeah, he has PTSD. So, and he's essentially like, you saw who Holiday is. Who is it? Tell me now. And we cut away from that.
Yeah.
And we cut to Falcone and Carla arguing with each other. And Carla is giving him like the 5th degree because he is teaming up with weirdos with people like the Clown, Poison Ivy, all those people.
As she says, the freaks.
Yeah, the freaks. And fucking essentially, Carmine has created this plan to get rid of Harvey Dent because he keeps digging. And I think at this point, they also think he's Holiday.
Yeah.
Because both people have been hit.
Yep.
And they have
orchestrated. Again, flimsy.
Yeah, they've orchestrated this thing that's going to happen on the day of Maroni's court hearing or trial or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Vernon gives Maroni this thing. He says like, oh, it's supposed to help with your ulcers. Harvey Dent gave it to you. And obviously that's a lie.
Yeah.
And while they're having this hearing, Maroni, begins to cough and he's not feeling well. And Falcone is also having an event happen at his house. It's his birthday, so they're getting to blow out the candles and all that. And while Dent is questioning him, Maroni grabs a container of acid, essentially.
Yeah, but it's disguised as like stomach and it's the stuff Vernon gave.
It's
him.
like
it's like Tums.
Yeah, it's like Tums or Pepto, that kind of shit. And as Falcone blows out the candles, Maroni throws the acid in Harvey's face, thus creating Two-Face.
Yep.
And it is pretty interesting because Bruce was sitting in the crowd as Matches Malone.
Yeah.
And he's like, the only thing I could, yeah, I know. The only thing I could remember that day was the Harvey's screams.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucking haunting.
Which I think, because this is canonically like how Harvey became Two-Face.
Yeah.
Which, you know, obviously the Dark Knight was a vast departure as far as like if this is comically canon.
Yeah.
In the movie, obviously, it's very much different. You know,
Very
Joker
different.
kidnaps Harvey and Rachel.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So, like, I knew this was technically the real way he becomes Two-Face. Like, I already knew about this.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to, like, kind of compare the two and whatnot. But, yeah, I just figured I'd mention that.
Yeah. At the hospital, Jim, Barbara, and Gilda are all there. The doctor comes out and is like, your husband is gone. Not dead, but he like
Left.
He left.
He
jumped out the window.
He stabbed one of the nurses with a fucking scalpel.
Yep. Everything goes black and white. It's the coroner's office. Carla is there getting files on all the people who have died.
Yep.
And when she turns around, there's, the gunman is there and shoots and kills her.
Yep. And Carla's dead. And like now we're narrowing down all the people that have been named as like, well, it could be this person, could be that person. But yet we're so close to the end of this run and still have no real...
By this point, you would suspect it to already be revealed who it is.
Well, at least given like a damning amount of evidence. You know what I mean? But they're still sticking so hard to that. Well, we want you to believe Harvey Dent did it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
To have that red herring right up to the last minute and then have that twist, I don't feel like it's earned.
Right.
I don't feel like it's earned at all.
Yeah. So we open up this chapter Labor Day with Dent in the sewer of Gotham talking to Solomon Grundy. And, you know, they have this brief exchange. Obviously, Solomon Grundy starts to fucking whoop the shit out of Dent. But then Dent gives Grundy the rest of the song or the poem or the rhyme.
Yeah.
You know, born on a
limerick.
Yeah. Yeah. Born on a Monday, married on a, you know, whatever, all that shit.
Yeah.
And Dent is like, you know, we're similar. We're kind of the same. You know,
We're both freaks.
We're both freaks. We're both discarded by the city, hated by the city, that kind of deal. And you kind of see the fall happening. Jim and Batman meet up, and they immediately are like, "Oh, Harvey's holiday." Like, yeah, he's the
some
holiday
real
killer.
faith in your friend there.
Yeah. And he asked like, "How long did you know?" And Batman just looks at him, and obviously Jim's like pissed, and he's like, "Fucking, you're gonna tell me how long did you know that Harvey was Holiday?" And Batman says like, "I don't think he is Holiday.
Yeah.
Like I refuse to believe that." And Jim's like, "I think you might be too close to the situation.
Yeah.
I think you are friends with Dent, and you don't want to admit that he is, you know, a killer."
Yeah. Is the culprit.
Yeah. So Batman goes to Falcone's house and is like, "Where is he? Where's Dent?" And Falcone's like, "I don't fucking know, and keep him away from me." Because holy shit, he is insane now.
Yeah, he's lost his goddamn mind.
Yeah. Bruce, dude, I keep doing it. Batman starts beating the shit out of Falcone.
Yeah.
By the time, you know, Sophia gets to his room, Batman's gone. Catwoman was listening in, and
once again, Batman realizes.
Yeah, we get a lot of the same things happening.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm like just glossing over it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, Batman's like, "So tell me the truth. Like, why are we always in the same area?" And
she gives this bullshit of like,
like one of the things she says is like, well, maybe I'm always around Falcone because you're always around Falcone. Like trying to be flirtatious and mysterious, but it's like, no, like what the fuck is going on? Like still hella confused as her part to play in this.
Yeah. And I think that's not the last time we see Catwoman, sorry.
No.
And we then cut to Batman at Dent's house.
Yeah.
Gilda is there, and he's like, where is he?
Yeah.
Like, you have to tell me. If you know where he is, you need to tell me now. And Gilda's like, I don't fucking know where he is.
She's like, bring him home.
Yeah,
please.
just bring him to me. Batman leaves.
Yeah.
He has a brief discussion with Calendar Man. And Calendar Man is still saying he, her, him, she, all that stuff.
Yeah. Bouncing between both.
Yeah. So Jim grabs Maroni out of his cell and he's like, all right, we're getting you out of here. Like it's too dangerous. Dent is on the loose, all that stuff. Takes him. It's Maroni, Jim, and one security guard. And they're walking him through and they're having a conversation when a bullet is fucking put in Maroni's head.
Yep.
And Holiday shoots and kills him.
Yep.
Holiday also shoots the security guard, but, you know, obviously it's fucking Batman.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
It's actually Batman.
And that's when it's revealed in the last panel that Alberto Falcone is still alive.
Yeah. Unearned reveal.
You know, I will say,
unearned reveal.
when I first read this, because when I first read this, I was in high school.
Yeah.
I thought the reveal was cool. But yeah, it's
100% unearned.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
The only thing that indicates any of Alberto's motivations at all is the conversation in like issue 1 at the very beginning when Falcone is like, I don't want you involved. When he was trying to tell his dad that Bruce Wayne was fucking eavesdropping. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing throughout this whole story that even shows a modicum of like, hey, maybe Alberto should be a suspect.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can kind of agree with that, though. So Batman absolutely mollywops this fucking Poindexter.
Yeah. Yep.
Breaks both his fucking arms.
Yep.
They arrest him. Falcone
It comes out that he's Holiday.
Yeah, it says Holiday killer caught. Alberto Falcone. He survived. He faked his own death. All that kind of stuff. Carmine goes to visit him and is essentially like, hey, if you plead to Maroni and just Maroni,
I can get you off.
Yeah, I can get you out. You know, nobody liked Maroni to begin with. It'll be easy. And Alberto's like, no.
I did it all.
I killed every single one of them. I killed on all these holidays, all this stuff. And, you know, he tells his father, like, you know, I was invisible to you. You didn't care about me. You didn't even know what day my birthday was. And he says, like, I'll give you a hint.
It's on a holiday.
It's on a holiday.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So while this is going on and they're doing this little conversation, or after this conversation, sorry, Gordon and his wife show up to Gilda's house and, you know, they spend Halloween together because it is October.
Trying to comfort her.
Yeah. Granted, at the same time as this, we cut to Arkham Asylum and all the cell doors are open except for one.
Calendar Man. And
we see a shadowed individual flip a coin. He catches it and he says, sorry. And he walks away.
Yep.
At Falcone's house, he is losing his shit because his son ain't having none of it.
He's not taking his plea or nothing like that.
Yeah. And while he's having this fucking hissy fit, we see multiple different panels of IV vines starting to come up. We see gas going in, laughter, the lights go out.
Yeah.
People are screaming. They're fucking scared as shit. And Sophia and Falcone bust down the door to Falcone's office, and that's when we get this really awesome
I do
double
like
page
this.
spread of all the villains from this story plus Penguin.
Which is random as shit.
It's because Penguin is in Haunted Night,
Yeah.
which is the collection of one-shot stories.
Yeah.
But he's not in this.
Which is crazy considering, especially, well, I mean, obviously this came out in the 90s, but like, I feel like Penguin has always been somewhat synonymous
Oh, yeah.
with like Falcone
100%.
and stuff. So to not see him in this at all until this very moment
Yeah.
is kind of wild.
He is the wild card for me. I'm like, this is a weird character to put in here.
Well, it's like why do Scarecrow and Mad Hatter when Penguin is kind of more apropos to be involved in all this? You know what I mean?
I agree. Catwoman is in this little group shot, which I find to be a little
Weird. Considering not even 5 steps to her fucking right is the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, she is a part of all of this, which she's never hinted at being a part of it. She never was a part of it.
Yeah.
So
See, that's what I'm saying. There's no like nothing you can look back to and be like, oh.
yeah, like,
you know what I
oh,
mean?
that's why she's been there the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
not-
because she's been secretly working with Harvey Dent.
Yeah, but Harvey Dent wasn't even really fucking doing anything until he got fucking acid splashed on his face.
Yeah. So, fucking Dent, he essentially is. I like that it's not Joker that's the one that does this. It's Harvey Dent's Two-Face. Harvey Dent ushers in the reign of the freaks.
Yeah.
Like, he is the one that brings down Carmine Falcone in the end. Not only because that's what he wanted to do as Harvey Dent, but as Two-Face, he's essentially saying, like, you guys are old.
Yeah.
There's a new breed of criminal that has to take on the dude in a gimp suit. So, I like that. I think that's very symbolic.
Yeah, because it's in a way he did fulfill his oath and promise to Jim and Batman.
Yeah.
By bringing down Falcone.
Yeah. At this time, Batman is showing up as well. He fucking throws the smoke bombs inside, and really cool fight because it's all like
kind of clouded.
It's all clouded and it's all gray. There's no color to it. It's really cool because he just takes them all out.
And once again, he's like, Catwoman? And she's like, it's me, and then gets away.
Yeah. Fucking, of course, Harvey's got Falcone at gunpoint.
Yep.
And, Batman's like, Harvey, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you're better than this. We're above this.
Technically, you're still like
You haven't killed anyone.
Yeah, you haven't killed anyone yet. Though that nurse is definitely probably feeling some pain.
Yeah. You're probably going to face a lawsuit.
Yeah.
But beside the point.
Yeah, you don't have to go to jail.
Yeah, you haven't done anything wrong yet.
Yeah, you don't have to go to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Which you can schedule a Wednesday to just walk out of.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. There is a story. Okay. This is a tangent right here. I know we're about to hit 3 hours. I got to say this tangent.
Okay.
So there's a story that happens. This is going to piss you off about Arkham Asylum.
Oh my god.
There's a story. Now, for the most part, it's a decent story.
Yeah.
It's Batman, Prodigal. It's a story that takes place right after Nightfall. It's when Bruce Wayne beats Azrael.
Okay.
But he's like, hey, I'm still not at 100%. So he has Nightwing take over. Mm-hmm. And it's a story about Nightwing first becoming Batman and having a grand old time adventure with Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Well, the main villain of that is Two-Face. And the way he gets out is that there is a release process going on for a man named Harvey Kent.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. And when they're like, all right, Harvey Kent, come on up. It's time for you to get released. He turns his face
Oh my god.
to the side and he goes, I'm Harvey Kent.
Oh my.
And they release him.
Oh my god, dude. Batman needs to start fucking killing people. Like, that's bullshit.
Someone lost their job that day.
Dude, I hope like the whole fucking thing, like every single one of them's been fired. That's not even an oversight. That's just being blind.
And they just let his ass walk out.
That is so
That makes me so fucking mad.
And what's crazy is I don't even think they don't even look the same, like facial wise.
So all he did was turn, like no one was standing behind him going like, yo, like your face is fucked up, dog. Like, what the fuck, dude? That makes me so mad.
We'll cover Prodigal at one point because it is a decent story and it has a really nice ending to it, like ending conversation between Nightwing and Batman.
This is why I support Red Hood.
I'm a Nightwing guy, so
Dude, the fact that a man just had to turn his head 45 degrees and lie to get out of prison, like that is so fucking stupid.
yeah. So, side tangent over. I'm glad I got to bring that up to you.
That's so fucking dumb.
I'm glad I got to bring that up to you. So either way, he's trying to get through to Harvey, and Harvey flips the coin.
Yeah.
It comes up, on the bad side, and he shoots Carmine Falcone, killing him.
Yep. The untouchable, now touched thoroughly.
So I should say in the middle of this, Sophia and Catwoman are having a little scuffle, and Sophia falls from a skyscraper. She survives.
After telling me that escape story, I believe anything can happen at this point.
Yeah. In the smoke, Batman still is trying to plead to Harvey, trying to get through to him. He almost does, but obviously Two-Face
Gets away.
And he goes to his office, goes to Vernon, fucking shoots and kills Vernon.
Yeah, he does the coin flip.
Yeah. Batman, he's there. He sees that the bat signal turns on, and it's Harvey. He has turned it on, and he's like, I did what needed to be done for now. And I like it because Harvey is normal speech bubbles, while Two-Face is like jumble, like scratchy looking.
Yeah. And
Batman's like, why? Why did you do all this? Why did you kill everyone? And he's like, I did what needed to be done. And Batman's like, you'll never be able to convince me that killing was the right answer.
Yeah.
And Jim shows up, and they're all standing around each other like in the beginning. In the beginning. Yeah. And Harvey has kind of like a normal conversation with him. He's like, the Roman's dead. I killed him. The long Halloween is over.
Yeah.
And, title drop, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, we'll get you help. Like, we can fix this. Like, Batman's not ready to let this go.
Yeah, we'll get you help at the asylum.
Yeah.
That's really well known for helping people.
Yeah. And Two-Face is like, you two are going to be the ones that need help.
Yeah.
Now that this is over. And he's like, there's only one thing left. And he's like, you need to put me under arrest. And they arrest Two-Face.
Yeah. I do like the fact that he still has kind of Two-Face is not a character that just wants chaos.
Yeah.
He's still very much,
if he's written well.
Yeah, if he's written well. He still has that sense of justice. It's just he's no longer held back by the line.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to cross that line every day to seek justice.
Yeah. He's essentially like a proto Red Hood.
A little bit.
Yeah, because Red Hood wasn't created until the early 2000s.
A little bit, but then they turn around and make him, want to rob banks and break the law and stuff like that. And it's like, I get...
That's what we have Joker for.
Yeah, but I also get, making him kind of descend into that. But, I don't know. I like this version of Two-Face.
I do too.
Having him rob banks and stuff just doesn't really seem to fit his character. But at the same time, you can only have so many morally, is my killing justified type
morally
character.
ambiguous people.
Yeah, because it's like... You already have Batman who struggles all the time with the should I kill?
Yeah.
I mean, not really struggle, but that's always a question posed with Batman. Yep. And you have Red Hood, and then I guess you have Two-Face, you have Azrael.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of people in the Batman kind of gallery who already kind of fill that role of is killing the right thing to do for criminals.
Yeah. But once Dent is taken away, and the sun starts to come up, Batman asks a similar question that he asked Falcone in the cemetery where he says, like, was it worth it? And it's kind of him asking both himself and Gordon, like, was all of this, was us losing Harvey worth the price? And Jim straight up says, like, it was worth it. Or he doesn't say it was worth it. He says, we won.
Yeah.
The good guys won. The Falcones are gone. Holiday is put behind bars, and Harvey will get help. But I won't know if it was worth it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then Jim, he is, holding his son. Barbara's trying to comfort him.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you want to do now? And Gordon's like, I have to continue because I believe in Gotham.
Yeah, which is mirroring what was said in the very beginning by Bruce.
And Batman also has kind of a similar monologue where he's like, I made a promise to my parents that I would never stop protecting the city until the crime that took them from me was gone.
Yeah.
And he says, I believe in Batman and I believe in my promise.
Yeah.
And then at Arkham, Alberto and
this is kind of funny.
yeah,
They're like having a fucking holiday name off.
yeah, it's like,
It's kind of silly, but
you guys are fucking nerds. Yeah, they're naming off different holidays. And Harvey is in Arkham as well, and he just keeps saying Gilda over and over again. And at their house, Gilda's moving out, and she's talking to herself. She says, Harvey, I did what needed to be done. Do you remember you promised we'll finally have time together when you didn't have to work so much? And she starts throwing away the hat, the trench coat, the gun, all the stuff, her stuff, because it's revealed that she is also the holiday killer. And she says, I believe in Harvey Dent. And that's the end of the story.
can you tell what I'm thinking by my face?
That you thought that was a stupid reveal.
I thought that was fucking stupid. It should be noted that when Harvey, Jim, and Batman were there at the end talking, he does say, hey, there's 2 holidays.
Yes.
And at first they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I think Jim's like, well, Harvey's always had a thing about pairs. Like Two-Face. It's Two-Face's whole thing.
Yeah, he's obsessed with the number 2.
Yeah. Well, it turns out there's actually 2 holiday killers, and it turns out it's fucking Gilda, his wife, of all fucking people, because she wanted to spend more time with him. Are you fucking kidding me? That is so fucking stupid. Like, that makes me mad how stupid that is. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know people love the Long Halloween, but I think that is the stupidest fucking reveal. Like, it's up there. It is dumb. I think that is stupid.
Yeah.
If you like it, by all means, like it. Do your thing. But
again, I still like it. I like the writing in it. I like the character writing.
Yeah.
I think the characters are written very well for like your main cast. When the reveal first happened, like when I first read the reveal, I really liked it. I do kind of see what you're saying, where it feels kind of lackluster, where we don't have any breadcrumbs as to because like Jim says they won, but not really, because they're just saying that Harvey was the holiday killer.
Yeah. And I guess maybe part of that's the point, is like you'll never really know or whatever. But
here's the thing though. We will know, because they made a sequel to this that started coming out last month called The Last Halloween. And they essentially like resolve this.
That's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. That Gilda review, I would have been so much happier if they just
left
it as Alberto.
Yeah.
Like, that makes at least a little bit of sense. But then to just be, I wholeheartedly believe they just threw that in there for the shock value alone.
Think so?
Of like, holy shit, his wife?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire story, why her logic of I get their whole thing is she's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole point. But that is fucking like, I'm sorry, that's fucking stupid.
It's weird because you do have to kind of wrap your head around when and where like she would have known where all these things are taking place. Like,
Yeah.
like how would she have access to certain people's addresses? And,
Well, okay.
Like-
So there is the scene where, Harvey's like, I always bring my stuff home.
yeah,
But she's talking to him in a way of like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't bring shit home.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And like, okay, if that's her lying to Harvey, fine. But in a way, you have to let the reader know that something's up with Gilda. And maybe I'm just fucking stupid. And there was something that was
like there's her constantly wanting Harvey to stop, but like to me that's like normal.
yeah, that's cliche. Like, my husband fights crime. Like, shit. That's said.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you on that aspect where I think Gilda is a disappointing reveal.
it's so bad. It's like
I think Alberto is a better reveal,
yes.
but again, they didn't leave a whole lot of breadcrumbs. I
Right.
like the idea that he like faked his own murder. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool. But there's no string of like how did all that come about. But
Yeah, but like, to me, with Alberto, he's involved enough in everything that I can at least somewhat put together a suspension of disbelief.
yeah, I agree.
Gilda,
Yeah.
a housewife, has been able to execute these murders fucking flawlessly.
Yeah.
No witnesses, no evidence.
And that's the thing, like where does
How does she find someone to sell her? And where does she get the money to buy 22 caliber pistols
Yeah.
in bulk?
Yeah. My thing is, where do you know where the holiday killings start and end?
Yeah.
Like her killings, where do they start and where do they end? And where do Alberto's begin and where do they end? Unless they're saying that Harvey Dent was the holiday killer, and she's just hiding it, like, covering it up, but that's not the case.
No. She's basically confessing in that last panel of like, I started it.
Yeah.
I started killing.
How did she start? Like, how did she get into that, like, Johnny Vitti's house, first off, to
Yeah.
kill him? How did she get on a cruise ship to kill Alberto, which we know she didn't. That was Alberto faking his own death,
Yes.
that kind of deal. But, like, how did she kill the Irish?
Yeah.
Like, how did she do any of that? Like, you do really have to, like, fucking jump the ship in logic when it comes to, like, how does this normal woman just kind of have access to all of this? Like, I can maybe understand she has access to some of the information because her husband's the DA and maybe
Yeah.
he has information on it. But, like, I don't
It's
know.
just-
It's the execution of said
crime
that I don't quite understand and I can see your issue with.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I think that reveal is dumb.
Yeah.
They should have just left it at Alberta and then had everything with Two-Face and then wrap it up like that.
Yeah.
They didn't need that reveal at the end. I really feel like it might not have been their choice to put it in there. It might have been like, DC, like, you need to have a final, like, punch at the end.
But I feel like that is the final punch. Like, Alberto was the punch.
Yeah, but also, like, Two-Face,
Yeah.
like, honestly, the story isn't even really about the murders, but that's what progresses the story.
Yeah.
Is the murder.
It's the catalyst. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I get a lot of this is the journey of, like, Batman and his, like, kind of rogues and Jim and Harvey becoming Two-Face, but the murders is the main thread of that plot that everything connects to, and that just is inherently, I don't think, done very well.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people
if they hear that take, they're not going to be happy about it. But
I mean, it's your personal opinion. If people aren't happy about it, well, guess what? It's a
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's shit that I like that people don't agree with that think is good. Like when we talked about Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I liked it, so I understand it. If you like this, you think it's the best Batman story ever, by all means, think that. But from my perspective, not necessarily being a Batman fanboy, I had to really tone down my rage bait for Batman fans. I just thought it was a lackluster story.
Yeah.
With a really bad twist at the end.
I thought it was okay.
Oh.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I like the characters in it. I think for the most part they're written well. I do agree with you. I think the detective work aspect of it is not as good as it could be, and I've seen some very good detective stories with Batman in it. But maybe we'll cover those soon.
Yeah.
If you want to pick up the book, I will say it is an evergreen story, which is a thing that DC uses, by the way. They call them evergreen stories, which means it will always be in print.
Yeah.
You will always be able to find a copy of Long Halloween. Not sure if you'll be able to always find a copy of Dark Victory, which is the sequel to it, which you might think is better. It has a similar premise to this, but maybe executed a little bit better. We'll figure out when we cover that story in the future. But definitely pick it up from your local comic book store. You won't be able to find the issues for cheap, by the way. The single issues are pricey. They're not super expensive, but they're pricey.
Yeah.
You can definitely pick it up at your local game store or comic book store. You can get it on Amazon. We read through the omnibus, the Jeff Loeb Tim Sale omnibus, which collects everything, and it's all in chronological order. So you can start from the beginning with Haunted Night, which are the 4 or 5 one-shots of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's start on Batman for the Halloween specials. Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and Win in Rome, which takes place after all of that. So, yeah, I mean, I've kind of said all I wanted to say. I obviously, you have much stronger opinions on this, which is fine. It doesn't have to be your cup of tea.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Batman. I love the character and stuff like that. Year one was really good, but this story didn't necessarily make me it didn't cement Batman's position for me.
Yeah.
Like the honestly, the thing that cemented anything to me, it was like, man, I hope a lot of the Batman art is like this.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I know it's not, but
Now, which do you think is better?
Year
Long
one.
Halloween or Batman versus Predator?
Oh. I'm going to say Long Halloween.
Man, that's wild because you really liked Batman versus Predator.
The only reason why I say the Long Halloween was the artistry.
Oh. All right, we're going to have to end this episode.
I look, don't get me wrong. The art is really good in Batman versus Predator.
Yeah.
The story is simple but fluid. Batman versus Predator.
It's 3 issues.
It's 3 issues, short, sweet. But the artistry in Long Halloween is, I think, something that can't be trifled with. I know.
Yeah, Tim Sale is, it deserves to be in like the Artist Hall of Fame.
I know that just a moment ago, I was talking my shit about this. And
You can't fault the art.
I cannot fault the art. And honestly, that was a big carry for me through this.
Yeah.
But again, the characterizations and stuff like that for the characters were really, really good.
Yeah, Jeff Loeb knows how to write characters, or at least did know how to write characters.
I don't think the characters, obviously, besides like the comic logic shit, like I never once felt like, okay, this is a really stupid thing for a character to do per se. Like it felt like everything was pretty in line.
Yeah.
It's just that main plot thread that I have a problem with and that reveal at the end. Otherwise, I like pretty much everything else of this book.
Yeah.
Batman versus Predator, I like the art. Like I said, short, sweet, simple story, but it's good. It's solid. That's like to me, that's your dude bro.
Like,
That's like a guilty pleasure book,
Yeah.
in a sense. Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah,
I don't fault you for liking it
I think it's-
necessarily
I think
better
it's
than
great.
Long Halloween. You know, like, I don't think we aired it, but
We did.
No, I'm talking about our Judge Dredd versus.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Maybe,
no.
maybe we should release that at some point and just
I think that'd be a nice little like anniversary episode.
of like what we didn't release
Yeah,
because that
yeah.
was so goddamn bad.
Yeah, that story was awful.
That story was so bad, but it still holds kind of like a place in my heart
Yeah.
because it was one of the first comics I ever got in
Yeah,
my life.
yeah, yeah.
But it is a bad story. It is not good, and no hate, but it's a bad story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I choose Long Halloween despite all my shit talking there at the end.
All right. Well, you guys heard it first.
Yeah.
Mason's a big hypocrite.
I'm a big conundrum wrapped in a paradox, wrapped in, fucking bullshit.
No, that's okay. Well, I think.
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
it. Well, all right.
This is a long one.
Oh, this is a long one. This has been Comics with Friends, the bi-weekly podcast where two best buds get together, read comics, talk about what they love, what they didn't like, and maybe tell a few funny jokes. I have been your host, Ethan, joined by my best bud and co-host, Mason, and all of you have a very happy Halloween.
I'm Batman.